It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition. Yes, late but never. We was just talking about you, the Grizzly, on the hunt for local sightings in Nokel. Huh? I like Nokel. Is that snorkel? Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and cryptid things. Oh, you're outside. I was like, I'm hearing stuff, man. My studio has been so active today. I had to tape things down because they were being thrown at me during my shows.
Oh my gosh!
And people were making fun. You know, Chris, it's been crazy, man. My REM pods, my cat balls, my cell phones. I mean, I had this cell phone taped to my 75-inch monitor, right? Taped, and this tape is strong, and it come flying off and hit me in the and I got tired of the cat balls doing the same thing. So I said, I'm gonna fix you all, and I got my tape gun out, and I tape everything. So yes, welcome, Crazy Witch. Welcome, Thomas, everybody. So what's been going on in everybody's world today and this week?
Chris,
hey man, don't talk all at once, everybody.
Yeah, right.
I went to the Forks Sasquatch conference in Washington, and that was fun. Yeah, that was great. I got to see. It was great. I got to see David Ellis, Rich Germo, Thomas Seawood. Who else?
Oh, I thought you said Geronimo, and I was like, wait a minute, did you just teleported?
Yeah, that they raised him from the.
Hey, I'm telling you, yeah.
Cliff Barrickman. Who else? Oh, Marcel. Anyway, I'm trying to think. I know there were more people, but yeah, it was great.
Oh, there were so many. I can't remember. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So what's going on with you, Chris?
Not a whole lot. Just taking a day at a time. So, Barb, you didn't get to see David Pilates or anybody?
No, they weren't there.
Now I did some research. Yeah, I had to find out what that was all about. Since you guys put me on the spot, and I looked like a deer in the headlights when I was like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" We were too busy breaking down at that point in time, I guess, when it happened, because it was kind of towards the end, and they do like an open question type of session where people from the audience can come up and ask, some of the people up, on stage, various questions, and something happened it was between Pilates and Meldrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it was about. I just know that it got kind of heated. They got a difference in views. I think Meldrum thinks more of the, big ape walking around in the woods feeling, and Pilates he's definitely got a different view of that. So I can see where the head-to-head could happen. They've got some big, I don't know, I wouldn't say egos, but they're known, and they've got.
You're damn right.
They've got. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be, but they've got their feet solid in the ground in the Bigfoot world in their own way. So I can see why they would just.
And I tell people, you can have your plate. I can't even talk. Feet playing it any way you want, ladies and gentlemen. That is, talk to David Pilates during the show quite often. Very interesting guy, Thomas. He is. I give him credit. But the thing, though, is, ladies and gentlemen, you're entitled to your own opinion. Mm-hmm. Now, us being reporters, investigators, and witnesses, and whatever else you want to label us, that's fine. How can you tell everybody they're wrong if everybody's experiencing different things and same occurrences and same similarities? So that's where people try to put me in a corner. I was like, hey, I really don't know. Is it flesh and blood? Yes. I say this on every show. Do they bleed? Yes. Can you kill them? Absolutely, you can. That is a known fact. Okay. We had people on the show before that's taken them down. And I told you all about that. You don't believe me? I can bring up the YouTube link and put it back out there, and everybody can watch it because it freaked me out the first time. Mm-hmm. Now, can they do other things? Absolutely. Sonya and I was talking about this the other night. speaking the other night, I was telling them, you're like, hey, do you want to see that female again? I'm like, yeah, remember the last time?
Yeah.
He's like, what? Look at Sonya. Yeah.
No big deal. No big deal.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, damn, girl, like, it's okay. Yeah. She's like, you're going to see something and look, and you're going to see eye shine and watch it blink. And I was like, damn, it did blink. And it's green. She's like,
her eyes match almost the same color as lightning bugs, which is really cool because we have those tracer lightning bugs that do the tracers, and then we have and then our lightning bugs, they synchronize out here. So, but she'll just sit there with them constantly on, and they'll just be flashing around her, so it's her. Like, her eyes are a bit greener, I think, than actual lightning bugs. But yeah.
Thomas, that is a good question. I always tell people online, offline, on air, quit looking at the ground. Start looking up more, because you're going to see a lot of things. And somebody on this panel can talk about things that she has found that is fascinating up in the canopy of trees. And when I say canopy, I'm not talking 10 or 12 feet off the ground, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking, it's up there. So, and I always say that. And thanks, Flat Rock, Chris says. But it's interesting because us being Homo sapiens, human beings, whatever you want to call us, we are so programmed when we go out in the woods, especially as hunters, whether we are investigating or actually hunting game, like I used to deer hunt and wherever else when I was younger, we would look for tracks and we would look down, right? And I couldn't tell you how many times I would walk up on a deer and look up, not even 30 yards, they'd be standing right in front of me. I'm like, what in the world did you come from? But people are seeing things, and Barb can elaborate on it, but not only that, but they're finding carcasses up in treetops. And we're not talking like a mountain lion can carry this big buck or this whatever animal 15 to 18 to 20 feet in the air and put it in a V of a tree to come back and nom on it later so other critters don't get it. I mean, come on. Now, I was a deer hunter and I was a deer slayer in my days, and we donated.
Deer slayer.
Yeah.
Deer slayer.
Yes.
After you fed them crack.
I'm telling you, yeah. I didn't have to use that. I mean, we went where they were at. But what I'm saying, though, is that I know how it is to drag one out. And you're talking, if you get a good sized doe, saying 175 pounds field dress, you're trying to drag that out by yourself, man, that's a lot of weight. Now, even on the PD, we had to do night shoots and stuff, and we had to drag a dummy like the fire department does, and acting like the wounded officer. But still, you try to get something that far off the ground and hang it in a certain way in a tree. Really. Now, cats and mountain lions and whatever felines, no, I don't buy. So people can have their opinions. So yes, absolutely. And Barb, since I keep bringing your name up, why don't you elaborate on that, please?
What I can't remember what I don't know what this is about.
Up in the trees, the canopy things.
Oh, you mean about where we saw the one up in the tree? Is that what you mean?
No, the bed thingy.
Wait, the what?
The bed thing.
Was that? I don't think that was me. That was.
Yeah, it was.
Wait, what was
what did you call it? Were they
like a hammock?
A hammock, yeah.
Yeah, that was down in the Everglades. I think Marie was the one who was talking about that.
Okay.
You saw it.
I'm sorry. I put her on the spot. Now I feel really bad, ladies and gentlemen.
I never seen one, but yeah, I heard about
it. Chris can elaborate on that.
I haven't seen it, but Marie told us about it. David Shealy took her out and showed her one where there's like a mat literally of vines woven, like elaborately woven, like 20 something feet up in the trees, because there's in the Everglades, you're surrounded by water, and then there's what they call pine islands. So you get a little bit of raised land that has actual trees. And inside those those pine islands, that's where you can find them, the hammocks, I guess. And that's where they like to hide out or sleep. I mean, you don't want to hang out with the snakes and alligators all day or all night.
No,
trying to catch some zines.
No,
I'm sure.
No.
I don't care how big you are.
But my question is to you guys right now. I watched a video where a guy had a camera shooting up his hill towards his house on the backside of his garage or big shed. and it said Bigfoot streaking. And of course, when you hear that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I had to check it out. So, and it was a blur, and I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm trying to slow it down, and it's an older video. It's not newer. So I know it's no AIG and probably involved, most likely not, but they're claiming it's a Bigfoot. And I asked Sonya about this, and I'm like, do they run that fast where they blur? Now, I've never seen one that does that. I've never seen them on video, but Barb, Chris, have you heard that?
Mm-hmm. I have.
So you have.
It was just different looking. It was like it caught like an energy field that followed it like tracers.
Yes.
Like
it was in the process. I didn't want to say this, but I was hoping Sonya would. It was either in the process of cloaking or coming out of the cloak and running. It was either one of those two.
That was my theory. Or there could have been one behind it that was already cloaked with it and going with it, and you just don't know what you're going to pick up, what a camera can pick up, what you don't pick up with your,
Mm-hmm.
You're just have the way it's going to take that picture or whatever.
I saw a
something that
Dogman.
you didn't see it because it happened so quick, and then it is like a flash of whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a Dogman video.
Did you just read what Thomas wrote? Tom, you're in Indiana, right, Thomas? You tracked one recently, and it was up in the tree.
Whoa! Oh, wow, that's cool.
Now, I don't know who. I am behind in messages, ladies and gentlemen. So you got to bear with me. I've been working on so many different cases and cold cases, and reporters and families.
You need a secretary.
I sure do, baby. But somebody that didn't sound right.
I'm different girl.
What did you say? But somebody told me to call them, and I have to go back and see who it is. Hello, Lady Wolf. We're getting ready to skid into that ditch, but Sonya's got control of that wheel. She loves to grab things. I'm telling you.
Throw it at me. I'll put it right in the ditch. I ain't got no brakes. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. So yeah, Thomas, we will talk because I'm like right across the river from Indiana. So absolutely. Standing Stones, I said this before one morning on the way to work on the road. I drove hundreds of times about sunrise, and some big black thing ran left to right across 4 lanes in a flash. Yeah, I know. You have said that. But, I've known from reports and stuff and eyewitness testimony, it's a lot of times, like she said, the Wampus cat, how it ran around her and her friend, right? You can only see part of the tail. Dogman, the same thing. Now, they asked me on the last show, well, how much more do you go out in the woods? Well, really, I don't anymore because I'm kind of scared by myself. And, of course, Sonya gets right on there at the right time and just calls me out in front of everybody. Oh, I'll take you. Don't be afraid. It's okay. It's beautiful. So, yes. And I'm like, damn, Sonya, really?
He did tell everybody that cloaking video creeped him out so bad that it scares him to even want to go back out there. Really? But yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know why that's the scariest thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know what you mean. Get on it, girl. Yeah, she got on it all right, I'm telling you. But the thing though, anyways, the thing is that there are things out there I told people a long time ago that walks upon this earth that we do not realize exist. Now, you're out in the middle of that woods, and Sonya and Barb and maybe Chris down there in the Everglades have got all the real nice, friendly ones. Grizzly's luck, he's going to run into that one mojo mad mama or something, and I'm going to get my face ripped off. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Because in your mind, you're going to, like, the first thing that when you're out there and you get scared, the first thing, especially somebody who carries weapons usually, the first thing you're going to think is, I need my gun. And he's going to pick up on that. They're going to know. They're going to be like, oh, this thing wants to shoot me. They're going to know.
Like
they're going to know.
That brake checked me yesterday. He's lucky mine flew underneath the seat. Because I thought he was going to stop in the middle of the road and he was going to meet his maker. I was going to run over his butt. I got cameras in my car. No, I got cameras in my car. And I was like, what in the world? I was like, I was looking over in the fields. I'm like, maybe they saw Bigfoot or something. That's what. and then I got that evil stare in that mirror, and I thought, oh. And then he took up both lanes of the road. I'm like, well, you better not. I mean, you're gonna get it. Yeah, it's like,
Were you following him? How did you see him in his mirror? Would you look at it? You too close. You can see his facial expression.
He did not like Popo. That's what it was. So,
Kentucky. Do you know, like when we're and people from Tennessee here, like the cars that you look out for the most are the drivers from Kentucky. True story. I'm not even lying.
I did not laugh at that.
Staying out of that.
Yeah.
Poor Crazy Witch. I know, man. I always get picked on. Standing stones. It's really interesting. Once I got in the woods, there was not much foliage then, but I don't know what the heck it was. See, stuff like that. Now, where was it, Chris, that one of the shows we had where they actually killed one, they opened it up and it had 2 hearts? Now,
I think that was Randy's show.
Yeah, Randy's. That's right. And this is where they said this is where they can swim. This is where they have all their energy and 2 hearts. I mean, my Lord, and they were massive.
Yeah, so, you would have a massive creature like that would need something massive to be able to pump, and it makes more sense to have 2 hearts pumping rather than one big one.
And maybe I would love to have been a teacher that day at show and tell though with those Polaroids, because he took the damn pictures of school, Sonya.
Yeah, why not?
Start up the whole mess. I would have.
I would have too. Like,
look what
show and tell.
Killed.
Yeah, I would have been like, everybody thinks I'm crazy anyway. I'm going to show them. No,
I'm doing it
that
for
was
you, Lady Wolf.
I was more crazy.
Lady Wolf wanted me to do it for you. So
the best damn show and tell there was.
Yeah, man. Can you imagine being the teacher that? And I mean, that had to have been something.
Hey, Grizzly.
Yes.
Standing Stones is asking, what are we talking about?
Oh, the one that had Bigfoot. So Randy, Chris has got the link, and I can go back and find it. It was on.
I'll share it in the chat.
Yeah, he'll share the link, and it's a horrible story. The guy's got PTSD. He grew up with them like Sonya, and they were playing in the barn, him and this juvenile, and he was naked. And that's how they played with them. They took off their clothes. I don't know if they took the clothes off, but anyways, they were naked. And they were playing feetsies, pushing each other feet, and they were making noises and whatnot. Well, the human, Randy, beat at his chest and did a gorilla sound, and this juvenile went ape crazy on his butt. I'm talking literally like tried to kill him. And the family heard what was going on, and they come running. Well, shots were ringing out, and Mama and Daddy showed up, and so did the neighbors. And I'll let you watch the video from there, and it will make you like, you got to be joking. And this guy, man, it messed him up. He's got scars from the injuries and everything from the encounter he had with this juvenile. And that's what I'm saying. But it's beautiful, and she wants to take me in the woods with her. Yeah, so I disappear and I end up on 411 with David Pilates, and Chris would be down there talking to him. Hey, have you seen Grizzly? So yes.
I'll get the team together to find you, I promise.
Yeah, right.
That's like
Lady Wolf, Sonya, I have to ask, what is a wampus cat? I've heard the name, but clueless.
It is a tall cat-like creature that wanders the woods. And the more I think about it, like, I mean, it's like the Dogman, but like a cat version of the Dogman. But I'm not sure that it's not a Dogman or the same creature. I'm not sure, because if you've seen, like, I saw a Dogman once, which I thought was a werewolf, but it looked male, and I mean, if you looked at it, it was male. It was definitely male. It was definitely male. Yeah, I don't know. But this thing, it was very dainty and very cat-like, but it also had like almost like a dog-like snout, or its face. It's I don't know how else to describe that. Like, it's like one of those old Egyptian cats that kind of looks like a dog, or like the Mancoon cats, how they kind of have that like weird face, you know. So it looked similar to what other people also describe like other dogmen. You know, there's a couple people who have described it like similar. But anyway, it's a tall cat-like creature that wanders the woods out here.
It played with her dog.
It did, and you know, I'm not the only person that. Who else was it? There was the other dogman people.
Lord.
He talked about his family of dog, or his dog playing with his family of dogmen, and I was like, that's another clue, because my Wampus cat, she played with my dogs. My dog, he went missing when she left. It followed her. He was gone for like 2 weeks, and you know, I thought he was dead, but I know my neighbor found him across the mountain. You know, and when I first seen it, like she was petting him, you know, so it wasn't, I never felt scared of her either. And I have to say her because she was definitely female. Like, and I've asked stupid questions before, like how has anybody ever identified them by their, you know, their junk or whatever. But like, but you could tell she had like breast, and she was very dainty. She was very beautiful.
I got a question.
Now, when you said breast, is it multiple breasts or a pair?
No, she didn't have like a roll of nipples like you'd think, you know. But no, she had like just two, and her skin was so smooth. Her hair was so smooth. It looked like she was wearing a leotard. Like, the color of her like body was different from the color of her tail, and she had hair, too. So she had different color hair and a different color tail. But it was just so smooth. It looked like she was wearing like a leotard made of really fine fur. Yeah.
Is my
I got a question.
Chat is like, go ahead. Is it like behind?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's my internet, but it's been cutting out. But I don't know if that's your end or if that's just me. So I haven't said nothing.
Fencing bitch coming.
Because I don't see the link either. Where'd you post it at, Chris?
No.
I posted it on the YouTube.
I
chat.
Should have picked up. So yes, Leanna King, welcome. Yes, a little bit. So it is. So that's strange. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, hey.
Go ahead, Barb.
I'll give a little bit more. Oh my gosh, Lady Wolf had asked the story of the Wampus cat, Appalachian history. In Missouri, it's called a gallywampus. In Arkansas, it's the whistling wampus. In Appalachia, it's the just plain old wampus or wampus cat, a half dog, half cat creature that can run erect or on all fours. It's rumored to be seen just after dark or right before dawn all throughout the Appalachians. But that's about all everyone agrees on. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
But
these cat dog like things, I knew it. They're
Right.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to know, do they chase lasers?
Yeah, I can find out.
What?
Cat balls?
Oh.
I know what to bring to Sonya is a bunch of cat balls. I'm going to run and toss them. So, yeah.
I'm going to get me some, like, you know, like I had a couple that I put out there, but I'm going to get me some so I can, like in the summertime, I have my window open a lot, or like at least, you know, where I can see out the window. But if I have those cat balls out there and they're out there, they should, you know, light them up, and I'll just, which I know they're out there anyway. I don't know. I'm trying to connect with them more than I have, you know. Every winter I feel like they've been gone, so you have to kind of like bond your way back in every spring. It's just me. I don't know. I want to play with the Sasquatch. I want to have a better bond with them. So make better contact.
My luck, Thomas, I'll have catnip on me, and some cop jerk is going to think it's marijuana and lock me up for imitation drugs. So no,
it goes naturally out all in my yard. It's like it's all in my yard. Maybe, let me find out. That's why the Wampus cat. She didn't come to see me. She came to roll in my yard.
Oh yeah.
My feelings are hurt. Don't say that.
No, Flat Rock. Chris can post links. He's done it before. So yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up.
Yeah, I'm putting it on the YouTube.
Kitty. So
I don't see it in the chat either.
Just put it on the backstage for me, and I'll post it out front for everybody. I don't know why it's not showing
It's
up.
the Rumble version. It's not the YouTube version, but here you go. It's on the private chat.
Okay. There we go.
Oh.
But no, it's...
maybe they won't let you on YouTube.
Maybe.
Unless they
shows it there.
Again. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to go out to my YouTube channel and click on it. So, yeah.
It's blocking everything that we're saying.
We've been flagged.
Is somebody saying out naughty word?
No, we just put, we were trying to put a Rumble link on
Maybe
YouTube.
that's what it was.
Yeah, there we go. There it's it.
There we go.
Oh,
he can do it.
Yeah, no, you should be able to do it. No, I don't know. It should.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
You
you can
guys.
just do it, like whatever.
But
I
no,
don't
you
know.
really need to check it out because it's one of the many stories that people actually come forward. And what's really strange is that Flat Rock and Thomas and Standing Stones is that the Indians elders showed up with the men in black and the government people.
Yeah.
And it was not a very well conversation that went down. So yes, please watch it. There's a link, Lady Wolf says. That's right.
Yep.
That's probably one of the most incredible stories I've heard.
So, we come across this, encounters, people's experiences, and it's hard to believe some of them sometimes. And I'm not saying it's not, ladies and gentlemen, because we hear a lot of things that's kind of way out there. But when you are in the field or in this realm, or you've done a lot of interviews like I've done in my lifetime, whether it's on the civilian or law enforcement side, and you have people with abilities, they know if you're telling the truth or not. And this guy had a rough time telling the story, and you just have to see it. I'm just going to leave it lay. But this is one of those videos or one of those shows I really recommend. How it's still up, I don't know. Rumble, it will never be taken down. But YouTube, yes, I figured that was going to be taken down very quickly because I have a couple videos that's been removed.
Well, since his originals were taken down. His
Yeah,
originals were taken down. Yours haven't been. I don't know why, but it's weird.
That's the fun. Like when things like that happen, I'm a conspiracy theorist over here, so so when stuff like that starts to happen and they start to disappear, it makes you feel more credible about the situation anyway. It should.
Yeah.
Well, he called me up because it happened after he did my show. And he called me up that night. Remember, Chris? And because Chris and I were talking, and I was like, "No, man, come on, man." And it's like you're just having problems. So I go out there. I'm like, "Dude, it's gone." I'm like, "Well, I guess mine's going to be gone." But nobody knows I've got other platforms that we also are on as well, not just 4 or 5. We've got a lot. So if they take one, you're going to have to take them all, suckers. But anyways, I shouldn't say that because now I'm taunting them. So, but yeah, it's on Rumble. It still should be on my YouTube channel. Last time I checked, it was still there because that's where Chris shared the link, was the YouTube channel. But
now he was asking He was asking if we're streaming this live on Rumble, and I said no. We probably should though.
No, it is. It's being streamed.
Is it? Okay, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah. So
or something today.
That is the, and I went and I told you on one of the shows before, I went and joined a group, and I could have swore you was a member of it. And I asked a question, "Hey, I'm so-and-so. I want to learn more about Bigfoot or Sasquatch." And man, they like outcasted me. They would not talk to me. I go in there right now, 204,000 people, ladies and gentlemen, and say hi and nothing. And somebody come right behind me and say hello, and they're like, and it's like, did I get blacklisted? Yeah. So, and we learned with Val when he had Barry on there, or is it Barry? Barry, wasn't it? Chris is his name, the Indian guy.
Yes, that's Barry. Yeah.
But he was saying white man is not ready, and he wanted to talk, but he would catch himself, and he finally told Val, "You are taking too long. So let me take control," and he start popping off things. But he would stop and he'd be like, "You know where I'm coming from." And it's like he wanted to say, but he was trying to tell us, "You understand what we're trying to tell you, but we can't say right now." So I kind of hinted around. I was like, well, what we need is a manual. Somebody's like, "This is what it is, and this is what they're doing. This is what these crosses and signs." And he leaned back and he was like, "One's coming. We work," or something along those lines. And me and Val was like, "What?" And we was like, "Did you just say?" And he's like, and that's when he went back to white man not being ready and stuff. And I told him we didn't want to be disrespectful because he goes out and he prays with them. And like Sonya, and we talked about this, about the movement, the gesture and stuff, right, Sonya? About the apes and everything. And I'm not Googling Lady Wolf about mating and everything else. We're not going there. I remember that night too. Trust me. It was not beautiful. I was so embarrassed. But But yeah, so it's interesting because they know more than we do, but they won't share it. And I understand why in some aspects, in some regards, but this is where we have so many people have theories, and this is where so many people want to stand in certain places and plant their feet and say, I'm not moving. Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to move because it's not just one, it's across the board. I think everybody's right in some form or fashion. That's just Grizzly's opinion. I don't know about you all, but that's where I stand.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how else to look at it.
Yeah, you really have to open your mind when you're actually, I mean, you know, when you're having experiences, when you're experiencing them ongoing, it's really changed my mind as far as that, you know. I think I told you guys, like, if somebody would have said, like, about a glyph, like even a year ago, I'd be like, I don't
believe in Sonya.
You know,
she had them all the time, but she didn't know if everybody else.
I just didn't know what you guys called it. I mean, I knew it's communication. I knew I can read some of them, like that. The Dawn lady, she had those ones that she put out. I can read hers. And what's funny is because my neighbor chimed in. He was like, "Yep," and he read it too because we've been finding them. And again, 15 years ago when we did start to, you know, talk about these things with other people, or 20 years ago, like when we was really starting to talk about this with other people, the only people really out there to contact at the time was the BFRO, and they didn't take anything serious, and they made you feel like you were just whatever. And that kind of, well, you know, up until then you see all the shows and stuff, and I mean, they've never found anything. They found stuff, but never found anything. It's just entertainment purposes. So you're not really looking because you can't be looking that hard. Like, and that's the way I felt about it. But like, all these reports and all these people, and you can't find one. You've been on a show for 3 seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, they've been around since what, the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. And we're not disrespecting any group.
No, I'm not. And like entertainment purposes, because those shows are entertainment purposes. They are, and you can't tell me they're not, because a lot of them, not all of them are. You can tell they're staged.
TV is TV. It's always going to be TV.
It's entertainment.
Yeah,
if Mike was here, I'm not trying to speak in behalf of Mike, but if Mike was here, Mike actually went to one of their conferences, and the guy stood up allegedly and said, "Hey, I do not believe in Bigfoot." Now, I would have fell out driving that far. So with that comment being made, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like, okay, well, don't believe. But thank you for coming and spending the money here to support the rest of us who do.
But he was the guy. He was the representative, though, from BFRO. He was the representative. It's
like, that guy, okay. So 20 years ago, which again, the BFRO, they used to take out these tours. Remember, you could pay $300 and they guaranteed you they guaranteed it that there would be some sort of activity with Bigfoot that you would get. And they didn't believe in the woods. They were charging 300 people for a guaranteed tour.
Somebody's hiding in the woods.
I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Everybody, welcome back to the edition. We're on the hunt for local sighting and local Bigfoot and cryptid news, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, ghost, black bear, right? Sure, it's a bear. Thomas calling them finding witnesses. Yeah, but the thing though is that with Barb Shoop's video. Now, if I did not know people knew her as well known as she is, I would not say that what she had was legit. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Now, with her reputation and stuff, seeing that video, I do believe. Now, after we aired that, there has been people that's come forward that go on investigations by themselves with camcorders or video recorders, whatever you want to call them, digital recorders now. And they're like, "Did you see that? What was that?" And it ran behind a tree, and they take off running, and they get there, and there's nothing there. And they're dumbfounded, and they're standing there filming themselves like in disbelief. They're like, "I don't know what I just saw, but something took off running." And it was, and then they go back and they try to watch it, and they're like, "I don't understand why it's not been recorded." And once again, it's the technology that we use, like I said on the last show, before this one, is I've got $6,000-$7,000 cameras. And that's why people are going back to the old school 35 mils, the 110s and so forth, because now you got negatives. You can't alter negatives, right? So, before we used to look at pixels, oh, look at that. It doesn't match up. It's been cut out. And now these days you cannot tell, ladies and gentlemen. And I couldn't only imagine Barb going through that process with her video in the beginning. Luckily, there was a group of people with her that filmed when she filmed it, and she wasn't the only person that saw it. So that was interesting. But her credibility over the years too backed the video up as well. So go ahead, Sonya. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it gives us the knowledge too to know that what we're seeing out there when we see stuff like that, that it confirms like what we thought we saw, and we're helping each other confirm these things. And everybody, like you said, has different experiences and has different things happen to them. But there's someone out there who has a similar story, I'm sure, or something similar, because there's a lot of stories out there, and there's a lot of similar ones out there. It just, you have to meet the right people. You have to just hear the right story.
And there's a lot of people though that has these encounters that say, "Hell no, I'm not coming forward because I'm not being made fun of and look like I'm crazy because I don't know what I just encountered or what happened."
It also makes it real. It makes it real for that person. And you can't imagine being somebody who loves outdoor activities and being scared to go outside. And for their own mental, like I said, your brain protects you. I say that all the time. Your brain loves you so much that it will make you think you didn't see stuff, and it'll make you it'll try to downsize what you did see. It'll try to like mess with you in your head, like convince you that you didn't see that, and you did. Yeah, and it does. It protects you like that, and it's one of those things that you just, if you want to.
Like Randy's story. I mean, Randy went many years. I mean, what was it, 30 years before he basically started speaking about that, and he was getting stuff coming back to him. I'm sure he suppressed a lot of that information and a lot of that whole thing, especially as traumatic as it was with the whole government being involved.
And to hold something like that in alone, that's sad. It's sad that that he didn't have like a support system to go, hey, like, wow, sorry that happened. Sorry that you have to carry that with you this whole time and feel like that you are like like a burden to know it. It's a burden with knowing it.
Yeah, you'll see that. You'll see somebody on a page share. Okay, now people are share their encounter, and if it's one of the wrong pages, and everybody's jumping on them like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, sure, blah blah blah. And that it took so much for that person to come forward, and then if that's the reaction that you're going to get, that they think that's just normal, what are they going to do? They're going to say, well, I'm never going to tell anybody this again, because this is a Bigfoot page, a Sasquatch page, and this is the treatment that I'm getting.
We got to do better than the BFRO did everybody else when we were coming up, and that's not fair, because I would never. I believe everybody's story.
You have to explain you had experiences with that organization, So, because a lot of people, Sonya, don't know about that. So you have reasons why you feel a certain way. So
Yeah,
I would probably explain a little
it
bit
wasn't
of that.
just me either. And it was a group of people that were here, you know, talking about these things 20 years ago, and they just gave up because there was nobody really else to, you know, we didn't have the internet like we do now. We had AOL and AOL chat rooms and things like that, and we didn't have the collaboration that we have now. So it's more of a support system and a more of a, hey, yeah, no, I believe you because I've seen some stuff and nobody believed me, but I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also how you all was treated too when they came out, though. You got to give a little backstory. So,
well, I mean,
give us a little backstory.
It was just they came out here with their show like whenever it was. It's been about 18 years or so, 16 years, 15 years. I don't know. I'm horrible at time. But they came out here and they had a bunch of people come up and tell their stories and stuff. And my sister got to tell her story or our story. And so my sister's there and she's telling it, and they just acted like that doesn't happen, that's not true, that there's no reported other sightings there. I'm reporting it right now. What do you mean? We're reporting it. We're here. That's what you told us to do, was come here and tell our stories. And then to get there and then be told, no, that can't be true because there's no other reported sightings there. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, tell me what sense that makes. And then just other people to tell their stories. By the end of the thing, it was just kind of awkward and everybody felt weird. That's just what happened. And it was just, and then you go on their website and this and that, and then they want to charge people to take them out for these guaranteed sightings. Yeah. When you've got this show on there, like I said, you've got this show on TV that you've never found nothing. You still got skeptics at that time. There were still skeptics on the team. Apparently there still are skeptics on the team.
Yeah.
But then you could charge people that kind of amount of money to have them run around the woods for a guaranteed experience. That doesn't make it make sense. No. Yeah. So just
there's
all
no
of
guarantees.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just not when you don't believe.
You're right. Leanna, you're right. And there's nothing wrong with being skeptical about anything, whether it's the paranormal world, ghosts, psychics, whatever type of field you want to look at, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when that guy came forward about his Wendigo encounter, I mean, they skinned this guy alive in public. Mm-hmm. And I felt so bad. He came to me and he was like, everybody told me I need to talk to you because you will listen to me. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going to listen to you. And when he first told me his story, I was like, damn, you had what? I'm like, yeah, you're coming on the show. And I mean, we had to put my cell phone up next to my mic because we couldn't get him on the show. So we had to do it audio because I didn't have my rig set up for people to call into the studio. And he was just nervous wreck telling his story. Then he got so emotional because how he was treated, and people literally made fun of him and calling him a liar. He was so full of BS that never happened, you know. And then it's just like, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is why people don't want to come forward and say, hey, but I tell you this, there's been 3 other people that came forward back from the 80s and during that time period that lived in that area that claimed to have the same, remember that? They had the same encounters, but they didn't come forward until after they saw him on my show. Yeah. And
inspiration, man.
So, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
yeah.
People have to have seen these creatures for us to be like, hey, I saw something. And then you be able to look it up and be like, hey, this is what it is. That means you're not alone. So anybody who is like I said, I saw the Wampus cat. I didn't know what it was. I'd already knew the Bigfoots were out there. That wasn't a thing, you know. And I wasn't scared of it. But it took me 2 days of sitting and processing to go, hey, I'll just look up online cat-like creatures in Tennessee. And I did. And all these other people described to a T what I had seen.
Wow.
But it took me that 2 days of processing and wanting to, again, know, you know, to make it real. And of course it was real. I knew it was real, but it was just, so there's other people out there so if you have a story, and there's other people out there who have similar stories, and I think that's great that what we're doing right now, like what Chris does, bringing all these people together to share their stories, in a safe-ish like environment where you can tell your story and be believed and be, felt like you're seen and heard for a moment. Yep. That's all people really want.
When I first told my psychiatrist, especially being in law enforcement, about stuff that we're talking about, she was like, "You're joking, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm telling you the truth, man. This stuff's real." And they're like, "Okay." And back then they would get you the medicine pad, the prescription pad out, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Well, we're gonna put you." I'm like, "Oh, the hell you are."
They're like, "Here, you take this medicine. You can keep being a cop. That's cool. Whatever."
Yeah,
He's just saying things. Take this medication just in case.
Yeah. That's great.
It might get rid of some of the things.
Yeah. It's just.
Like, don't you see that? They're robbing that store over there, and you're on medication. You're like, "I don't care. Whatever." You do you, bro.
I know. And being in the service around military bases and in certain areas with the government facilities, yes. And that makes me wonder what involvement the government has with these creatures, being cryptids or cryptozoology field, whatever you want to call it, because somehow they're entangled somewhere, some fashion. I don't know.
Well, don't you think that the military, let's say this, if the military wanted to build something somewhere to hide it in the best of spots, would you not pick the spots that one of the biggest creatures in the forest can hide in? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's hiding there, and like, you get, everybody sees a little this and that. Nobody, some people just mind their own business, and some people are like, "Oh yeah, that's Bigfoot," whatever. Mm-hmm. And other people are still trying to figure out what they've seen. But with the military, they're going to know like where these spots are, and it's, I mean, they're good hiding spots, obviously.
Mm-hmm. We got a listener, Lady Wolf, that has an experience, and she was in the military, so it was pretty incredible. One day she'll tell her story, but it is definitely something linked to the military and these creatures. There's no doubt about it. They know where the energy flows. They know where the energy comes out. They know there's these energy portals. I'm just going out on a theory here, but I believe there's energy portals, and I think that they build these places where they be able to, harness this energy because it's stronger there in these spots. And again, to be able to research something, you build a facility over it and research it from the inside. Mm-hmm.
Well, what's really interesting was Expedition Bigfoot, right? When that series first came out, they were getting very close to whatever. And allegedly and rumorly, I cannot say this 100% on the air, but their show almost got canceled because how close they got. And they did not know if they were coming out with another series or another season. And so I don't know if they switched locations now, as the rumor was, or the rumor is. Now, I cannot prove this. So I'm just telling you what is being told. But they are filming another location now, away from their original location, what we actually saw previously on other seasons. So
they seem to move it around a little bit anyways, but that last season they were right up against a restricted area, and they had the Black Hawk helicopters coming around them, and funny activity.
Thomas, I can't wait. I'm already stoked. Now, if I would have said stoked over in UK, I would have just gotten my butt beat and I lost my teeth and a couple black eyes. I found out, but no, and and this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that the government does have involvement in everything that we do, whether it's animal related, monsters, whatever you want to call it. Independence Day with Will Smith, they scrubbed that movie approximately 13 times before they released it to the public. Now, why in the world is the government want to be involved in a movie production? They're
desensitizing people. They desensitize you to the point where you think that you've seen it. You've seen it. You must have seen that in the X-Files, because every theory that we ever had about stuff, and when they redid the X-Files series or made those other movies, that last one put every conspiracy theory that they ever had into one movie, and now it just makes you look like all the things that you thought in real life were just this thing off of.
I saw a perfect meme the other day and said The Matrix was actually a documentary.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes more sense than a lot of other things.
Yeah, it is. Ladies will thrive. They got terms like soft disclosure, but when she talks about, when we talk about portals and stuff, and look at Barb's video shoots and other people's videos that they record, whether it's in a storm or not, we always hear encounters of a flash of light, and something, and like that one video we watched, it looked like something came out and back into something that did not exist in time on our plane. And then within not even 22, 23 yards to the left, there is allegedly a hairy creature standing there that. Oh, I thought that was somebody screaming. I thought, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going live at Sonya's place. So
I'm waiting on my break to get going. I'm out here at my friend's house sitting on the porch.
Well, I didn't know if that was somebody like trying to communicate with you, but I realized what it was.
I'm not used to all the noise either. So every time a car goes by, I look like I'm going to know who it is. It's a highway. Like, I'm used to being in my house and you hear a car, you're like, what is that? I'm a high alert.
When people are now, to me, it's starting to make sense, because they would say it's like a flash of lightning. It's like a picture flash, like Barb shoots video. It looked like something ran in front of the sun behind a tree and blocked the light out just for a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Terminator. When the Terminator had to come back from the future, he had like this big portal, like ball of energy that he had to travel through, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. Chris is on high alert all the time. You better believe it, Norman. The stuff that I've been through in my lifetime, trust me, yes.
Yeah.
I'm that guy in the woods. You hear that? Did you hear that? You hear what? Did you hear that twig break? It's a possum. Okay, we're good. But no, I mean, you just don't know, because I'm telling you, there are things out there, ladies and gentlemen, that walk upon this earth. And I keep saying this, that people do not want to believe in. I don't care if it's demons, spiritual, Bigfoot, Wampus cats, Dogman, whatever you want to call it, the Loch Ness monster, the goat man, which we're going to talk about Thursday on one of our shows, and it's called the Potlick Monster here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I've got a friend that we all know in the community that was present when the neighbor was like, "Oh man, do." He's like, "Do what?" He's like, "Yeah, man, dude, last night." And this guy trailed it all the way to the train trestle, and he only not witnessed the prints, he actually casted them. And he went to the DNR of Indiana and the Fish and Wildlife of Kentucky, and he was like, explain this. What is this? And they're like, and man, they were coming up with some wild stuff, but they wanted them, but he would not release them. So very well known guy. So yeah.
Who was it that showed that old picture of that old army map? And the old army map had all these locations on it. And then this one thing, or it had all these locations and like all these animals to be aware of. And then Sasquatch was on there.
Yeah. That was on our page.
Oh, yeah, that was. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was pretty interesting. All these poisonous animals and things that are dangerous. And yep, sure enough, it was in Washington.
Yeah.
Well, one of the old Sasquatch books I've got from I think it's like the 70s or 80s. It has one of those in it. It has like a smaller, like drawn version of like that, and they had that in the military maps then, and it talks about that. I don't remember who it was.
It was a survivalist map, is what it was.
Yes.
If you're in this area, beware of these dangerous and poisonous creatures, and it actually listed Sasquatch and showed a picture. So yeah, but. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's history with Native Americans and First Nations. I mean, they will say that that the Bigfoot are just another tribe, if you will, and that they interacted with them, they traded with them, I think maybe it was just a cover up. Possibly began. I don't. When is it not conducive to have these things as just another demographic of humans, You know, like somebody had said,
well, imagine being at war with them.
Well, yeah. I mean, was there a, you know, could there have been a an agreement like this is, you know, we're gonna cover up the fact that you exist, you know, to protect you? I don't know.
Well,
maybe.
who was those two masonry people, Barbs, that were on a mission there for a while in America? Which I fell in love with the series. They were on the hunt for giants in America, and they wanted to know where all these skeletons were going to. That they were being found across the country and disappeared.
Smithsonian.
Yeah, the Smithsonian. I think you say they're in the back door of the Smithsonian.
All of a sudden, their show just disappeared.
Yeah. Coming out with
and
too
it's
much
like
truth.
you got too close. You got too
Smithsonian
close.
collects
Exactly
them.
what happened?
Yep.
They collect them and then they no record of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's what you're talking about.
There are tons of newspaper clippings and articles about them being recovered from Indian mounds in Ohio, Kentucky, you know, all those areas. And you know, you go back to the 1800s and they talk about them, and every one of them, Smithsonian came and collected them. Smithsonian came and collected them, and
you know, they'll stand right next to them, propped up, and they'll be like, you know, and it's like, what the hell? And those are not CGI pictures or AIG or whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, Chris and I looked at some, you know, pictures not too long ago. Man, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, once again, when it comes to photographic and video evidence, I'm sorry, you know, I can't say anything about it. So, I mean, that's how good that these people are figuring out how to use this AI technology. Yeah. And these black and white photographs and stuff, it's just amazing in the details. And it's just wild. It's just wild.
That's probably what makes it so not realistic is the fine details.
Yeah, right. Norma, I've seen
the finer the details that make the photo.
It was UFOs that you've seen or Bigfoots that's been cloaked?
A tribe. A tribe?
Oh, is that tribe.
Is that what you mean, Norma?
Wow.
Maybe? Right over my house, hovering and saw it cloaked.
Oops, sorry. Yeah.
Twice in front of me and others were present. But when I share this, people doubt me or they don't remember. Well, I feel like they definitely, first of all, you know, that's like a response, right, to trauma, is that sometimes you just lose all recollection of that. Is it,
she said
they manipulate
aircraft.
Probably. What's that, Chris?
Oh, UFOs.
She said aircraft.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we had a guy on one of our shows that came on that works for the government, and he told his titles, and I was like, whoa, before I even brought him on. And he was telling us that the aircraft 2 years ago, the military airplanes, were having such problems tracking these UAPs or whatever you want to call them now, that they had to outfit every airplane with this special technology because they would see them, but their radar wouldn't pick them up. But ladies and gentlemen, guess what? They see them now, and they sure in the hell could track them. And they ain't these things from China floating around these big balloons coming across America. And I can tell you that.
Nope.
Now, ever since that happened, he has like fell off the face of the earth. And I cannot reach him, and his social media links are like gone. So it's like, oh wow, okay. But the YouTube link's still there. So yeah. Black triangle with light in the center. You know, is that ours or is it alien? So
so I've seen military, because they fly a lot out where I live at night. They do like all kinds of like just weird stuff out there at night, and I've seen the what looks just like a triangle, looks like a chip, like a Dorito chip, black, and it's military. They have one that is a storm, like they send it into storms. It rides in on storms. The technology that they show us that they have are 20 years behind the real technology that they
up at 30 to 50. My brother says from the Air Force. So
yeah.
Got off.
Do what?
What?
What'd you say?
Sonya, we can hear you. We can.
Yeah. What'd you just say?
Wait,
I don't know. my whole phone. I started talking about that. My whole phone went black. I was like,
oh. It didn't. We had video. We could see you the whole time and hear you the whole time.
Yeah, we thought, I don't know if he's getting ready to be
I was
alive.
like, what's going on?
Yeah, sound dropped out for a minute.
Yeah, my phone blacked out, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I was like, I'm getting cut off. They're cutting me down. So,
but not on our end. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
but there's also, I've also seen things that have come out of the sky and hovered, and they were like in a triangle pattern. I wouldn't necessarily say they were black because they were like a sequence of lights, and I don't know how to describe it. They were in a triangle shape, but there were several of them, and I'm not sure if they were like in a whole thing or if it was just a three. You know what I mean? But like when they would pass under the stars, you could see the stars in between the triangle, so it wasn't like a full thing. But then I've seen something that was just like that, but I wasn't sure if it was the military plane that I'd seen before or if it was other things. So there are definitely spacecrafts out there that are triangle in shape that are military, and then there's some that are not so military because of the way the other one moved. We don't have technology that they let us know that they have like this that would move like zoom, zoom, zoom and be streak, just be gone.
Yeah,
yeah.
She's freezing out. Well, you know what's really weird is seeing these big rectangles that people are seeing that are miles long and mile wide. Now that defies everything we're taught. So
wow.
So if you go back, what I told you, I was on that camping property. I was camping a few weeks ago on that property out there where we're having that event that I'm going to. Back in March, me and my sister was out there, and I told you, me and my sister saw something. That's the way my sister described it. Was a giant rectangle of sparkly looking light. It was like a giant rectangle, but it was sparkly looking. I don't know how to describe that. And it was huge, and it looked like it was miles long, and it was moving through the sky. And I'd never seen anything. I've seen the Elon Musk things. I've seen the satellites. I track the satellites just because I know the lights in the sky exist, and for my own, because you want to discredit anything that could not, what it is, it could be. Right. You want to try to do that yourself. Yeah. And this was something different. I've got like I don't know. You just have to read how my sister described it, because she described it just like that. I didn't exactly see it as a rectangle box, but I also, I don't know. I was too busy going, look at how sparkly it is. You know how I'm over here like, oh, how pretty. I was looking at the sparkly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, I really am.
Every time. And then you want to know why I don't go out in the woods with her, ladies and gentlemen.
But that sparkly, that
I'm like, look how beautiful, Chris.
Like a method of camouflage, though, right?
That's the first thing I thought about, because
like the glimmer.
Yeah. But my sister described it like if you took a skyscraper building and you laid it on its side and you turned all the lights on that side on, and it was just moving through the sky like that, which I seen it too. It was wild looking. I don't know how to describe it. And it was so weird. It's like that next morning, the guy who owns the land showed up. He's wearing a NASA shirt. And I was like, Sonny, I was like, look at his shirt. I was like, he's wearing a NASA shirt. And I was like, like, what are the chances of that? And I was like, listen, we saw aliens on your property. He was like, I was like, son, he works for NASA. Like, I'm sure it was just a coincidence. I was like, it was a weird coincidence, but.
Whoa, that's, wow.
Yeah, that's wild. Because I know one night I was on the phone with her, and we were video chatting, and that's when we heard the birds. And I'm like, and she was like, did you hear that? I'm like, I heard that. And that's like very close to you. And it was responding, and it's just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was different bird calls. It wasn't just doing the same bird call. It was like literally to my right and probably 15 yards from me.
Yeah.
And I'd only been on this property that other time. This was my second time to the property when I heard the Bigfoot, because I was pretty sure the first time I was out there that I'd seen signs. But this, and me and my sister saw the giant thing in the sky. That was wild. But the next time I went, like, I was like, as soon as I got there, as soon as I stepped out of the car, it was just like these array of different bird noises, like just all the different kinds of birds, and just sitting there, just playing them over and over again. And everybody's like, what's got the birds so upset? And I said, they said birds. They said, that's like 3 or 4 different kinds of birds. I said, that's not a bird. I said, it's all coming from the same spot.
Yeah.
And it's coming from the same thing. I said, you think there's like 5 different kinds of birds over there on the same branch tweeting at each other? And they was like, well, what is that? I was like, well, if you're going to ask me, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a Bigfoot. And they all know I do podcasts. They know.
This is at night, right? And they don't typically tweet and chirp and all that at night.
Mockingbirds don't. That's the only thing I would think could do that would be a mockingbird, but they're a daybird.
Yeah. And all
we
the
actually
sounds
fact checked that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, and there's certain birds in certain parts of the country that will sing only when alerted or allegedly looking for food in the middle of the night. Now, come on.
Yeah, but they don't switch up bird calls in the middle of it. Right. Like, I'm going to identify as a robin.
Yeah.
You know what? But it's funny too. Yeah, and when they do those fake bird calls, they always do owls. And we have families of owls out where we live because my sister does a lot of like owl impressions, and she brings them in, calls them in. So between the mushroom rings and all that stuff in the yard, they'll do like a fake owl call. It's not fake. It's just a crappy owl call.
Like Barb said. Remember Barb?
Yes.
It was doing real good and just went her.
Yeah.
Like we're making fun of the owls. Exactly. Like a crappy owl call. Like it sounds like somebody trying to imitate somebody making an owl call and making fun of them. And that's it. Yeah. And then it'll go from that back to the 5 different kinds of bird calls. Yeah. Like the older I get, bird watching has been a thing that, me and my mom has started, like, oh, what kind of like, yeah, exactly. You can tell I'm from the country. I'm just like, what's that? Whatever. That's cute. But like, so I'm trying to identify the things that are around me. I've lived on this earth for 36 years. I've been oblivious for most of it. Like I couldn't name the plants around me. And I believe that we should do that. We should be able to do that. I've learned a whole bunch of stuff in school that I still remember that I haven't used since.
Right.
But you know what? It would be cool to know what kind of plants are around me. Yes. And half the crap in your yard they tell you to weed, that's a weed, has medicinal properties. Actually, about 99.9% of the things in your yard that they tell you that are weeds have medicinal properties.
There you go. There's your Fat Albert call. But yeah, it is, and it was amazing because with Val, I went out and fact checked, and was it you all or was it Val? I can't remember. I'm going to get my shows mixed now. Is that chimpanzees and gorillas would self-medicate themselves? That was with you guys, wasn't it? Or was that with Val?
I think that was Val.
I think you're going to be with Val.
Yeah, they know what plants to use to heal themselves. What plants for self-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory.
They know what things to chew on for pain.
Yes. And I was like, and I'm like, how did I learn all this? And they're like, well, because we study chimpanzees and silverbacks. And so it makes sense why we would see certain videos that were older of these creatures, where you want to call them, ladies and gentlemen, forcing on the bottom of the ground, looking for certain things. We're assuming grubs or whatnot, which we know they allegedly eat like the other primates do. But, who knows? Yeah. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just amazing. So, it's their intelligence level. When Barb told me, or told us that they would, if you would ask them, hey, and I'm going to grab one just for the heck of it, because I got them all the way up here. Hey, my intentions, I want to auto record you and then let you. But if you sneak one out there or whatnot, they will not, and they will pick it up and turn it off. And I was like, what? And then I start talking to other people like, yeah, you didn't know that?
That's
I'm like,
common.
No, I never heard that.
Well, see,
like, yeah, it happens all the time. Now,
and it's not like a oops, I can boop, no, you have to literally hold it and then
that's why I show all the different types of recorders I have, because the buttons are not all the same, ladies and gentlemen.
They're all different.
Yes. And we're not talking battery strain, we're talking click, it's off, powered off, and put back, or on the way out of your weekend, there's a stack of them. Don't forget your little recorders.
So when it's just like, well, they're like anybody else. Like if you pick something up, as soon as you pick your phone up or your recorder, are you not going to push every button is on there? You're going to push all the buttons. You're going to see what it does. You're going to.
But you would play it, you would record, you would fast forward, you would.
More
you know
that
what I'm
they
saying?
know. I think they have that level of intelligence that they just, and we said before, what if it is like a static or like a noise, a frequency, something, if I put out, and I think they can hear that.
They can. There's I mean, sometimes when you turn your TV on, like maybe not the new ones, but the old ones, definitely you would get that.
It off right. You're like, wait, what is that noise? And
sometimes you just get those natural ones. Yeah.
I don't know how, like fluorescent lights, we have them in the house that we have now. We still have some of those, with the long tubes.
Yeah.
I don't know how people dealt with that, like being a major light source, because they drive me. I can't stand it. I can't stand being around
buzzing.
See, and it makes me wonder,
those are the transformers. But crazy,
you being high vibrational too, and that's another reason why I think the Sasquatches are there to visit you and trying to communicate with you. Is you vibe higher, you vibe differently than other things.
But crazy, my recorders don't say power button. You either have to slide it and hold it, or you got to hit a button, hit something else, and turn it on or off. So when it comes to, I thought that too, but when I can show you 5 or 6, and they're not all the same.
If they watch you turn it on, they're going to know how to turn it off. I wonder
if see that far away, me turn something on with my back turned.
Because it's a shared conscience. So if you're
a lot of them have a lock feature on them. They, like mine's got, if you turn it on, you can turn a lock feature on.
Right.
So you could hit a button. I wonder if anybody's had that issue where they've actually unlocked it and turned it off.
Oh,
that would be that. See, that would be testing the theories, because you have to do that.
Yeah.
And when you're testing those theories, they're gonna know what.
Where somebody duct taped one to the screen of their mobile camp thingy, and they put out the damn tiki torches and went inside and turned it off and relit the damn torches.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I've seen that. I heard about that. I was there.
And then I'm going to come back to the show being all black and no beard and being, being zapped by a Bigfoot or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like they pick up a tiki torch and walked over and like lit them like we do.
Right. Yeah.
She said they just slowly just came back. And it's like, well, what in the hell? So, I mean, because stuff like that makes you wonder.
If they could do that, like they wouldn't even think about, people say like, why don't they use fire? They don't need fire.
Right.
Like in Peace Fingers,
They don't need fire.
It draws too much attention.
Like, whoa, that's cool.
That's true. You smell smoke. You see the smoke. You smell like smoke. It ruins a lot of things.
Yeah, you just need the heat, and they don't need, and the light, if they don't need it.
And that makes perfect sense to why, like in the winter, and they're in the really bad months, that they would just go up the mountains, not down the mountains here.
Yeah.
Like, them being able to keep themselves warm. And if you can self-illuminate your eyes, you can self-disappear. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, just sparking a spark when...
Like, it doesn't even matter where,
portal to, like, the Bahamas or something for the winter and then come back.
Yeah.
Snowbird.
But, talking about that, what brings up another interesting topic is, Val talking about his database and stuff that he has about how some of them are so well groomed with cut hair and combed hair.
The ones out here, and people talk about, like, we were talking about them stinking and stuff, and that it was a good point. It might have been Chris that said that they thought maybe that they could make themselves smell like that.
Yeah, I think that's that. I think that's what it is.
Because mine don't like.
That could be a defense thing. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, because mine don't smell like that. Like mine, I have smelt them. I've smelt them before, but like after so long, I don't think that I got used to it, because you don't get used to certain smells. Because the male that run around by himself, like you could tell when he's in the holler, it's a constant thing.
You're not leaving them enough weed. You got to leave them more weed, and then they start smelling.
Well, I smelled that this morning. I smelled actually twice today.
What,
and,
weed?
No, weed.
Oh,
Sorry.
I mean, here we go.
Absolutely. I live in Washington State. Like,
she's like, oh, that's
when
nothing.
Joey smell weed. I don't know.
Lucky.
But now where was I? No, not that. I smelled that's this like sewage. Yes, but like rotten sewage.
Like sulfur.
Like open it. Yeah, like you open like let's say an old like what do they call it? Septic tank. That kind of.
Oh wow, yeah.
Like and yeah, I was going in to the woods and trying to look around, and I smelled it, and there was this is probably nothing related, but you never know. A squirrel was doing that like beep 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 beep.
Yeah,
like,
alert.
Barking at you.
And I have a feeling that they didn't want me to go in
He
there.
said Sasquatch is trying to take your crap right now. Do you mind coming back later?
Yeah.
He's exposed.
I'm wondering if there's not I think there's they have babies back there. That's what I think, because it is where they're at. They are kind of like they could be a little somewhat trapped in if everybody went in like a big, they really have to be careful. But it's also the best place because they're not going to be bothered. Nobody's going to go back in there except me.
Could have had a log for your freezer.
Phew.
Oh my Lord! I knew that was coming, ladies and gentlemen. I knew it.
I want to know what you're going to say.
We're going to the ditch, and Sonya's not driving this time.
Oh my Lord! Lady Wolf, you kill me.
Hey, so Chris, I what I'm talking about, like before and after, I had emailed you, or not emailed, sent it on Messenger, a video that I'm talking about.
Do you want me to display that?
So yeah, you can cue it up, because I'll just tell you like what, and this is what this is all stemmed from, and I know a couple people had brought it up, and I sat on it for a couple days, and I'm like, you know what, I think I'm just going to put it on my page and see what happens. Was taking my dog out to potty, look over in the wood line, and I can see that there's like a hole, how there's like, there'll be like almost windows, and I see that this weird movement. It looked like it was like a tree branch that was shaking like violently. And then there were ferns that were just moving like all independently, not like it was wind. And it wasn't wind, because there was no wind.
You can see it moving. Like,
I'm like, what is going on? So I look, and I'm like, and then the dog's like, oh my God, I got to go inside, inside. He's like terrified. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like trying to pull him. And then I'm like, let me get my camera out and take a video. So I did, and then I couldn't figure out where the window was. So anyway, so I saw, like with my naked eyes, like a big black, movement. It almost looked like it was like going like this. But and I feel like I kind of got some of that on the video, possibly. Now the only thing is, I don't know if we can zoom in enough. So I was going to say, then we could, then go and check out on my
I'm trying to
Facebook
figure
page.
out where
I tried to
your poor dog. Poor dog. It's just like, please put me back in.
Share screen. I'll make sure I hit the audio. And
yeah, because that's the audio doesn't really matter, but it was just me breathing and going, what is that?
Still, it adds to it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
He's right.
Let's see.
Now, I probably paused it. No, I didn't.
No, you know what, though? I think what's good is that, it's right in there. Yes.
Right there.
That's where you need to look, right in that. Yeah, in that, like, it's almost like a circle that you can see in through. Yeah, that's what you need to. Mm-hmm. Well, this is really good, actually.
Yeah, I told you can see him moving. Like, you can see it moving, not just the branches.
Yeah. See. Yeah. And then then you'll see.
Damn it, Sonya, hold that phone still.
And that's. And then I fell over. Then my dog I'm like, fine. So take the dog inside, and I'm in, like, drop him off, I grabbed my binoculars, come back out, and I snuck up to where it was when I could see right in. There was no movement whatsoever. There was nothing. Like it was, they knew
gone.
whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. It almost looks like, zooming up, looks like there's two.
Yes.
Well, it looks like it's close. Well, it kind of looks like it's like, I don't know. It looks like there's movement there that it's like
something
that you can see through, like it's close or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I saw. Like you can see it, like you can see it moving, but it's like that predator thing where you can just see the movement and you can see behind it and through it almost like.
Yeah.
But you can definitely see it.
Yeah.
I get all excited.
So then I had to figure out where it was actually coming from. Where was it where were they? Like, what am I looking in through at, what part?
Yeah.
So, I figured it out this afternoon, and this was just by me, going back and forth and trying not to go past where that smell was. Cause it was just it was weird today, and it was a negative feeling. And it was like just that stinky smell. And as soon as I walked beyond, outside back into my yard, it's gone. So it's back by where they were. We're back by I don't know if you guys remember the little wooden hut, shelter that I had shown. It was almost like an igloo, right back by that, and which is the same place that I was grunted and huffed at last year.
Yeah.
Same area. So I bet you that's right. Like that's where they have, I think, the babies, or they're preparing. I don't know.
Have you ever left them out presents? I mean, have you left them things? You leave them stuff?
I just started to do that, and it's just somebody had said rubber ducky, the little rubber duckies, like toys.
Yeah.
And then little what are they called? Those little glass beads kind of thing, like the not a marble but more flat. It's like a marble but like a flat marble. and that's the way. And then also which the ducky went missing, the flat marbles went missing, but then they also have these it's like Mardi Gras beads, but they're red, white, and blue, and I have them hanging on a tree branch, but they under and above that, they're above. Somebody made like a glyph that to see if they'll identify with this glyph of but nothing has happened. The necklaces are there, and my glyph has not been touched or messed with or anything. So
they're probably thinking, what in the hell is this woman up to?
What is she doing now?
It's a new thing. They're just like, maybe they're just scoping it out. Go out and mess with it. Go out and mess with it yourself and keep doing that,
Her glyph probably says, "Don't touch my beads," and they didn't touch them.
Yeah, right.
Do not.
So our next show, this is what our show is going to look like. Watch. So, how's Barb? We haven't talked to her in months. So, is she okay? Will be one less spot there, right? Yeah, great.
Well, you already said your other friend's missing. I'm like,
yeah. Let's see who would be left. I think Chris would be left, not Grizzly. Chris Hensley.
Yeah, Chris would.
Be left out of all of us.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I've been out on a couple night investigations this past weekend, so I'm.
Oh.
Yeah, I was out there with that crazy little lady, Marie. Actually, the first night we went out, it was the whole group. All four of us went out and just kind of walked around the green swamp in a particular area that we like to go out, and didn't have really anything happen that night. So we went back the second night since it was a long weekend. It was just Marie and I. And after a certain point in time, there's a couple things that happened that were like, the heck? We heard a scream that was like, it sounded like a woman screaming at the top of her lungs, like probably 3 seconds. And it scared the piss out of us because we both, it made your hair just stand on end when we heard it. And then immediately heard a hoot owl. Actually, no, it was a barred owl. Start calling, but it sounded like that barred owl was scared too, like it startled. It didn't sound like a normal barred owl. It only kind of went off a couple times and it stopped. And later, 2 months later, I heard the barred owl a little bit further down. And then about 20 minutes later, we heard if I can describe it, it was weird. It almost sounded like a large branch, probably like 5-6 inches, being slammed on the ground about 10 times in a row, right at the tree line. Because we were out in kind of an opening. we were kind of sitting ducks, but we weren't in the actual woods. But we could see pretty much the peripheral of everything, and we just heard this don't. I mean, it was loud. And I looked at Marie, and I was like,
Jurassic Park. Do not run into the field.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go running in there. I was like, Marie, get your, she had her thermal. I grabbed the night goggles. Couldn't see a thing. I mean, it sounded like it was right there.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a couple weird things, but I couldn't she was gonna go out there by herself that night, and I'm like, man, if she goes missing 411, I'm gonna feel bad, so I better go out there with her.
That's the thing. I mean, you really don't know, because even though they may be gentle in one spot, I mean, are you walking upon a group of juveniles or babies? You don't know. I mean, look at mama bears and their cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about some serious stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm sorry I don't have a radar like Sonya. Hello. I'm beautiful. I'm coming to visit.
I can't say that I wouldn't be like creeped out or scared in other situations, but like I believe, like, if you keep it in your heart that I'll be okay, that that's gonna work. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Your situation is a little different, Sonya. Not everybody's situation is like yours, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't want to push it. I've
been to other places though. I've been in other woods where I've had, like I said, I was at that other place, and that it was like as soon as I came out, they said as soon as I got there, it was like the bird calls started, So I was like, maybe it had something to do with me, or I would like to make everything about myself. There's also that.
But like, I feel like, you would have a connection.
Yeah, in North Carolina, I've had we went the first time I ever went kayaking or tubing. I was supposed to go tubing. I got the kayak. I had one follow me all the way down the river. And if I didn't have a group of people with me, I would have thought myself that I was crazy. I was like, oh, there's no way. But it messed with us all the way down the river and followed us all the way down the river that day, And I've been somewhere in Georgia where we were out in the woods, and I had an experience out there, like with the whistling and, them making noises and stuff at me. So, but maybe it's just because every time I go into the woods, I'm like, woo, hello.
Maybe.
Do my Sasquatch call. Sasquatch. Hey, Sasquatch. Yeah. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just oblivious. Maybe I'm just oblivious, and I'm just like, But there are those warning signs. Like what Chris said with them beating that stick on the ground, that's like with chimps and other apes. That's a warning sign. Like,
Oh, I wasn't going
running. What are you doing here?
Wow, but
it felt like a negative thing for sure.
That's a lot of stuff going on, though, that, with what you're saying, Chris. Yeah.
Well, it's a busy area, and it's also even known for some like UFO weird activity there. So, none of that was going on.
UFO activity?
Yeah, it's been known for that. It's kind of like the Skinwalker Ranch of Florida, I would say, in a weird way, but.
It's these high energy places. I'm telling you that. Like, I know we have the ley lines, but we have like other lines too, and other spots. It's these high energy like places, like especially ones that have all the elements,
Yeah.
And that's the thing, we don't know, and this is what everybody's trying to figure out. And like Ron said, Moorhead, if you take the cave systems, you take the sightings, you take the ley lines, you keep laying their maps, right? Eventually something's going to catch, something's going to add up. Now, one thing that I did, and of course, it's not here right when I need it. So it's not one of these. Oh, that's right.
We couldn't see that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, you bought an invisibility cloak.
Yeah.
So I invested in one of these.
A phone?
No. Hey, no matter where I'm at, Florida or not, I found my way out of my woods.
You don't know that. Let me throw you in a portal. Let me see.
Hey, this is one of the top of the line GPS trackers where I can call, text, and everything.
But you're still scared to go out in the woods.
And
see, we can find
prepared.
I am
prepared.
So it's satellite. Okay, because mine.
But now you got to go out in the woods.
The other
and
one you couldn't see is, that thing.
Look at that. See the
yeah, magic.
Well, it's green because it says police on it. It says your police bracelets is what it is. Now, if I hold it up like this and it's still green, it's not going to do it. See?
Look.
No.
Yes,
that's really cool. It is doing it.
Grizzly's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
But that thing was expensive.
So that makes perfect sense with Sasquatch then.
Mm-hmm.
If they have that fur that's clear,
that is correct.
And then they're on a green screen all the time.
The fur is actually kind of scaly. Like the hair itself looks somewhat scaly. So it's kind of
those pillows or whatever.
It says
you get those pillows and stuff, those little rhinestones on it.
The cavalry should be coming. SOS. It says on the side. And you got to hold it when you hit it. So did Grizzly prepare? Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen.
I still
will. Somebody knocking on your door.
Chris is going to outlast all of us. Sorry, Grizzly.
I know.
He's not out here.
I do believe that.
He's not even outside. That's why he's going to outlast us.
It's got a camera, a camcorder, and everything on it. So, yeah. So,
you have all the toys. That's cool.
So, I really went out and because, like I said, and it's also got other things where you can attach to it to get out and talk to other things out there, or people, I should say. But
like in the spirit realm, or is that what you?
No, I'm talking like my ass needs help. You better call, more than the U.S. government to come get me. So the ham radio operators and stuff. Oh man, this thing does it.
Wow.
It's nice. So,
like you talked about the cave system and the missing. Like, have you ever the missing persons? Like, you can see the missing persons. There's a lot more missing people around the cave systems, and the cave systems also run with the Bigfoot sighting. So it's all. Yeah, it's all it's all connected.
Yeah.
Like the cave systems.
Congress also got satellite phones too. Oh, everybody's got satellite phones, but because I was planning on going to places. The government
to come and get you when you're out here doing this kind of stuff?
Good luck.
It's this Grizzly. We don't need him or his shows or any of his guests. No. Not at all. So
for the blackout.
I just make sure I hit the SOS button. I make sure it's not powering on.
This is why Chris is going to outlast us all. He knows what's up.
Yeah, see, if you go into the national park, make a big deal about how you may or may not go missing before you go in. That chances are you'll make it back out. They'll make sure they'll go get you. They'll find you. They're like, well, we can't have him.
But what if they don't, and then it's your worst nightmare? You're like, oh crap, that didn't work.
They'll just drain the battery in about 3 seconds, so it's all right.
This has got some anti-battery draining technology on it too. Since you said that.
Oh, it's got Sasquatch technology, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's test that one at Sonya.
I knew that was coming.
I want to know.
So, but because people always want me to go out and go with them, and I was like, okay, I want to do that, but I'm like, you're going. They're like, no, I just go by instinct. I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy. So we're out there. Next thing you know, it's dark. Now what are we going to do? Guess what? I got the light. Let's go. And I left trail markers all the way on this computer, right? The satellite thing. Wow. So I can go back no matter day or night or whatnot. Or if we are lost in, say, Barb or Chris or Sonya, you got hurt, I can text for communications. We need EMS and hit a button, and it'll tell everybody where we're at by GPS and everything else and show us on a map. So, so I did think outside the box besides the ammo, holy water, crucifixes, and the wooden stakes on top of it. And
then what are you
I knew got jars of garlic.
Yeah, what are you afraid of? Then
You're not scared of going missing. You just showed us all the equipment.
I watch horror movies. Why do people run in Jurassic Park in that damn field? I am not running towards no field like Chris said.
Yeah, but you can't watch those Sasquatch movies. They just make those movies so people are scared to go into the woods to find Sasquatch. And it's working for some people.
Hey, I'm just telling you, I couldn't tell you how many times on county we have these hiking trails and people get hurt. Where are you at? I have no idea. It was near a creek, and that was 4 hours ago. And it's 2:00 in the morning. And you got 70 people out here trying to find you, and they have nowhere to look because they don't know where you're at. So would you hear something?
You ever hear owls mating? It's the scariest noise in the woods.
Really?
Yeah, you never heard owls mating? Oh my god!
Yeah,
no.
they cackle at each other. They're pretty creepy.
It's awful. I'm pretty sure that's.
Oh, I would think that was like witches or something that are cackling at each other.
No, they cackle at each other.
Owls are witches.
They'll sit right on a branch and they'll just cackle back and forth, and it's scary as shit. Actually,
Yes, lady.
Thank you.
These poor audio people. Every time I upload this audio on the show, they're like, "Man, I love to hear some feedback from you guys. Email me, would you? Send me an email and tell me what y'all think. Y'all like hearing this stuff because y'all crack me up. Because somebody was driving last time we all had everybody on the show, and they almost had a car wreck. They were laughing so hard.
I was gonna say, hopefully they didn't end up in the ditch like we did.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because I don't know who it was Standing Stones or Silver Stones or somebody, or Dan or somebody was driving and damn near had a car wreck because he was laughing so hard he couldn't even see. So I'm hurting. It is, but at least everybody's having a good time, and we're still PG. Carry that personal locator beacon. That's right, Thomas. See, I knew you were still here. You didn't leave. Curiosity, see? Aha!
He wanted to hear. He wanted to see all the equipment you had.
You never know. What I say.
Don't forget
my buddy
this,
down at the lake. I'll never forget this. He got a brand new golf cart, and I shouldn't be telling this on the air. This was about 15, 16 years ago. And we was down at the lake. And he was like, "Hey, man." He was like, "You want to go on my new golf cart?" I'm like, "Dude, it's squirrel season. Yeah, you drive and I'll shoot them out of the trees." He's like, "Okay." So I put beer in the back. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, in case if I get thirsty, I'm not driving. You are." He goes, "You got the gun." I'm like, "I know. We're good." So we're driving along. We're just having a good old time. Man, I just started screaming.
Drinking and driving is a no-go.
Man, I jumped out and got my duty gun out, and I popped off like 9 rounds. Dude ran off the road into the ditch and wrecked his brand new golf cart and hit a tree.
Oh no!
Maybe you should have drank, drove, and shot the squirrels there, Chris.
It would have worked out better for you.
He does not talk to me.
Oh no!
No, he does not talk to me. That's how many years ago it's been. I mean, if you could have saw his face when I was popping off those rounds off my duty gun, oh my god! And this golf cart back then was fast. I mean, my lord. So yes.
Yeah, this is
I didn't shoot any squirrels, ladies and gentlemen, because we were in the ditch. So
your ex-friend decides to watch an episode and I
thought he was on here now. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
And he
did he find me?
Brought back to it. He was just brought back to it all. Like, thanks a lot.
Oh,
I was
a prankster. Yeah, I was a prankster. It was a nice looking golf cart. Yeah. So, but he didn't know. That's why I'm saying you never know what I carry, because a lot of people, always like, "Why do you always carry 2 or 3?" And I'm like, "Look, so you, me, and Barb and Sonya, we're all together, right? Let's say some reason Chris is a JoJo and he doesn't have nothing, and we're in a gunsling out. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I turn around and said, 'Hey, Chris, catch!' and throw one at him?" Well, hell yeah! Now we're down to business, right? Or if one malfunctions and I don't have time to clear it or whatnot, I can drop and pick up another one out of my pocket and start popping off more rounds. See,
What
I
do you
think
plan on coming at us? I'm not going out with you guys now. What? What are we? What's happening?
Are you guys gonna at least carry your personal locator beacon though? I just want to know that.
Sonya has got her beautiful one. She's fine.
I'm over here like, no, you take the guns. Maybe it'll be like, well, I'm a big Predator fan, the Alien.
Who are we running into that you guys are going to be fighting like this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I'm not going.
When I was on the police department, we always carried
like
extra.
Zombies, maybe.
So yeah. So and my daughter knew that when we were out in public, if I did a certain arm movement, to stand behind me and grab one behind my back and start popping. So we had things planned, especially
trained.
Yes. Oh, you damn
I
right I did.
Survivalist. My dad never had no moves. I knew when stuff was going down. I think I knew before he did. We didn't have no moves.
Thomas, I carry more than that, brother. So yes, I sure do. The Lady Wolf.
There's a Sasquatch behind Chris, and he's
gunslinger.
Yeah.
Man, what y'all just scared the hell out of me. I was like, I'm looking at my blue screen. I'm thinking, what do you mean there's a Sasquatch? And you're talking to him. I was like, man,
it looks like that's really cool. He's got a pew pew.
That's what Barb did. That was funny.
That's an AI.
They're gonna have a shootout.
That's an AI art that I made.
Now, what in the hell would you do
if
Sasquatch killed hunters and collected their firearms and start shooting back? Now, wouldn't that freak you out? Because if they can turn off recorders, you can't tell me they don't know how to fire a damn gun.
It's about time somebody took out the human, or took on the human. It's about time.
Whose side you on?
I'm just gonna say it. We're all taking it.
The orca are taking them out at sea, taking the humans out, and the Sasquatch on land.
Oh, isn't that wild?
I think my clan would take up for me. They'd be like, she's been pretty cool. She's left us eggs and bananas and stuff. That's cool. I feel like they just keep me as a slave.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh God. I don't know what, like if they take over.
You're gonna have to get on the gifting real fast, Barb.
Yeah.
You don't believe in store-bought eggs.
Yeah.
They'll throw them at you. Yeah, that's right, lady. We'll shoot out the okay.
Store-bought eggs. I was thinking about this the other day. You have to refrigerate store-bought eggs. So after 24 hours, the eggs can start to get salmonella, and I feel like the Sasquatches would know that, not to eat that.
Yeah.
So, but with fresh out of the chicken eggs, they're not, and they'd last. They'll stay good for months or a month. 6 weeks.
I don't think they're worried about salmonella.
That's something I just learned.
I was about to say that's the last.
I don't think they're worried about that. They just stick carcasses up in the trees and save them for later. I mean, what the hell?
You're hurting me. I was so good not to laugh.
If there's a carcass up a tree, they didn't come back to eat it. It must. I don't know.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
Maybe
Thomas,
I don't know.
Thomas, you remember that candy Bonkers? It knocks you out. Remember the candy commercial when we were younger? Bonkers.
Oh yeah, but I'm trying.
That's the first thing I thought about when I saw Thomas's thing, Bonkers. Bonkers. You remember the old lady on the couch and the watermelon? Bonkers. They knock. Anyway.
It's a cartoon called Bonkers.
So you never seen a Bonkers commercial?
I don't
dating
know.
yourself.
You are so deprived.
I'm so sorry that
I don't know.
I wasn't around when they were showing that commercial on the TV.
Yes, she was. We are bringing up a Bonkers commercial.
Okay, well then I lived so back far in the country that we didn't have. We had like 3 channels, and you couldn't see the channels, or you could either see the channel and not hear it, or hear it and not see the channel. And then you'd have to go outside and turn the antenna, and then you'd have to holler at the other person to stop, go back the other way. So
let me tell you something. Yeah. I remember the days we had aluminum foil. So yes, all right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Aluminum foil, yes. You can put on your rabbit ears.
And
get channels in. Yeah. See.
Yep.
You wear those as hats now. They're hats. That's a hat.
That's why we know.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I had Thomas. You made me do it. So let me get out of here.
See.
Yeah. Look, y'all got Chris has got my side hurting. Because I was trying to I was laughing inside, and then he started laughing, then I lost it. And then I start cramping on top of it. And I hate when you cramp.
He's cramping. Now it's your fault. He's cramping, Chris.
Yeah,
He's got the cramp.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right
belly laugh.
underneath your rib
He
cage.
took the Midol for the cramp.
Hey, I used to take Midol. That stuff it really works. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
For fruitiness of Bonkers fruit candy, they learn soon enough.
I remember it. I'm a liar. I remember that.
Some
Yes.
folks think Bonkers is gum. They know it's candy now.
Well, commercials have come a long way.
The inside Bonkers is so super fruity.
So super fruity.
I had
See,
to.
I feel like, oh, they can't do that these days because the kids will be too scared of falling.
Oh, I know it, right?
You're going to trigger the
Could be
kids, Barb.
traumatic.
Yes.
You
Oh
know,
my
You're
God.
triggering them.
Kids will never eat fruit.
Where's
Again.
the beef? I love those commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Where's
Yes.
the beef?
Yes.
So yeah.
I'm hungry now.
Thomas, I didn't wear tinfoil hats. I wore bras, acting like I was a airplane fire pilot. So I can't even talk. Y'all got me damn laughing. I'm cramping.
Airplane fire.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
You
like
got
the
a good
old Red
imagination.
Baron. Well, I did. Man, I grew up in the country. We beat on pots and pans with wooden spoons like we were playing the drums back then,
Yeah.
I still do
So-
that. I'm not a grown adult. I'm like, whatever.
Somebody sent me a message, and I'm like, yeah, it's bonkers. It's right. I thought, oh, hell, we're getting ready to get cut off. Laurel, better late than never. You say he's going to be here an hour and 46 minutes and 55 seconds ago.
Better late than
But
never.
yes, you are.
That's
so,
right.
Yes.
I forgot to tell her happy birthday yesterday
I
until
know,
Grizzly
I
told me it
know.
was her birthday.
I know.
Happy birthday, Laurel. I'm sorry I forgot.
You know what was really bad is I was feeling so bad, Barb and Chris. And I didn't really want to do the show, but I didn't want to cancel. So I wanted to try to figure out a green stick with green tape and put my head up against it and sort of prop myself up. So I felt so bad because it was her birthday. So I sung her happy birthday. And I went back and watched it. I was like, man, it sounded like I was at a damn funeral dying. I felt so bad. No wonder everybody was laughing. And I apologized to Laurel. And Laurel was like, it's okay. It was just nice. It was sweet of her. And I felt so ignorant. So, yeah.
Well, she's like my friend in real life. Like, she gave me my dog that I love to death. Like, that's where he came from. Like, we're
said she
friends in
loved
real
the
life, and I
song.
forgot. Like,
Yeah.
Grizzly
Yeah.
had to tell me.
So, yeah, I was trying to be discreet about it. And Sonya was right in the middle of the show. She's like, I love you, baby.
I did. I stopped. I was like, sorry, guys.
I was like, oh, good gracious.
They're like, where'd she go? I was like, I'm sorry. I went back to wish Laurel happy birthday. I forgot. I'm not going to lie. Like, I forgot. I don't even know what day it is now. I'll be gone next week because I should have been packed already, but my event is next week. Like, I'll be there from Tuesday to Tuesday. And I'm not packed anything. Nothing. Nothing.
I'd probably Monday night I would start packing.
Chris.
I know. That's what's going to happen, Barb. And I'm going to be a sweaty, aggravated mess on site when I get there because that's exactly how every time I go anywhere. I don't even know why I'm trying to fight it. Let's just let it naturally
She's
happen.
telling the truth. She is telling the truth about the mess. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a hot mess. I am a hot mess.
I agree with you. I concur. Yes, you are. But any other interesting breaking news? So, I love Barb Shoop to death, but at the end, when Bonkers that remind me of Barb. And not mind your Barb when she scooted over.
Now that you said that, yeah.
Very
cramping.
Congrats,
Zen. Sonya. So that she's a hot mess, and she'll be traveling youth in spirit. Make sure you got extra cell phone chargers. Make sure that you got good reception.
Personal locator beacon.
Yes, I should overnight my little thing.
If you want me to, I'll throw on the live, and I'll do us a tour through the burn community, and I'll show you some of the art and some of the stuff. It's pretty. You ever heard of Burning Man out west, right? Burning Man. It's a local burn. So this is a Burning Man event that is local to me. And yeah,
That's cool.
it's called To the Moon in Tennessee. It is so amazing. It's amazing. Really, really awesome people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Grizzly,
So that would be really cool.
I sent you a picture on Messenger, and it's a.
I was afraid to look at the phone because I didn't know what else was going to come through. So.
I sent you a Messenger if you want to share it. I thought it was interesting because it was going around between us, our group, kind of internally, and Mike. It's an AI picture that some lady, I can't remember her name now, Linda Wood or something like that did.
Uh-huh.
And Mike said, "That's it. That's what it looks like."
So we have one.
I mean, like,
if
you can pull it up, and show, because it's really cool. It actually shows more humanistic than I can imagine. The face is, he's like, it's spot on. So I thought that'd be cool to share. I sent it to you in your messenger.
I'm pulling it up. We have one lady that's going state to state using AI and to recreate people's images of what they see. So that is very interesting. So I'm clicking the last button here. And
that's all. You know how it works is basically AI art is you give the parameters, you basically spell out in full detail of what you're trying to get it to predict and create. Right. And then you can that's the one that Mike said that's what it looks like.
Okay. Wow.
That's similar to what the mail
that actually came off to me more human than what I was expecting originally. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, so you think it's more human? Is that what you said, Chris?
No, I think that picture came off. Well, I mean, everybody says they confuse it with a human, and now I can see what he's saying.
Yeah, like there's a couple of these AI photos where they mix up that different, because all of them look like, some of them look different.
But let them come off with gorilla look to it, or like a gorilla face to it, or Chewbacca, or things different ones. But this one actually, when he said that's it, guys, that's it, and I was like, wow, okay,
yeah, because like
pretty cool.
I can imagine it. Like I feel like I know a man that looks like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm saying? Put a ball like a ball cap on him and a flannel, like a flannel shirt, and I know.
Hey, Val, I'm not gonna lie. I have a friend that looks just like that. Some of these, and they can pass as humans, and they have reports. And once again, out in the country,
they were wearing clothes.
Yes, and stealing people's clothes. So I just
it's so okay. So on that subject, though, about the Sasquatch genome project that with Dr. Ketchum,
the argument. Anyway. Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast she was on, and she said that so they're hybrids. They believe that they're human hybrids, right? But as they continue to reproduce, the human aspect is going to continue to dwindle away.
Yeah, I read an article.
Become diluted. Now it's never going to be gone completely, but it will dilute. And so it's interesting what will they, look, because she said, you will have hybrids can look like anything, in their gene pool. So that's why we have
a flower.
My phone is going to die, y'all.
Flyer. Why do you think I mentioned a charger? I just don't come out of this stuff out of no reason, ladies and gentlemen.
My car with it on the charger. Well, the car is being worked on. He's done now, though. But my car, I got 1%. Okay. I just didn't want to you worried about where I'm at. It'll take me about 45 minutes to get home. So
she's gonna go missing 411 in a minute.
Yeah.
Too bad you don't have my device.
It's going.
Hey, baby, look, this is where I'm at. I'm safe.
There she goes.
Yeah,
bye, Sonya.
But there was a flyer going around where it actually had the different types of Sasquatches across America, and I cannot find that. It was in a lot of the Facebook groups, and I went online and I looked, but unfortunately, I cannot find it.
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, so I'll send you.
It floats around every once in a while. It comes back around.
And it's very interesting because it's so realistic, you know, the
Mhm.
different thickness of skin. Now, the one I saw at her place, Sonya's, it looked like a Chewbacca.
My gosh, I was just that same podcast that I was talking about with Dr. Melba.
Yes.
She said they look like Chewbacca.
Like
they
Chewie.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because when I saw it, when she was like, how beautiful about the damn storm, and I'm trying to tell her to hold her phone still because it looked just like a Chewbacca.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
so
because a lot of people hit me up after the show and they're like, well, describe it. And I was like, I did. And when somebody said that, I was like, yeah, that's what it looked like, Chewbacca. And but she says that there are other ones on her land that look totally different. So, and that's where we was reading on last show where the female goes out, either doesn't come back with the male or comes back with the male to the family. So now we know that they are not intermediate or breeding inside the family circle. But we also see by Dr. Meldum's tracks and stuff over the years is that, Sean, you're so awful. That's terrible. Don't get me cramping, Sean. But I forgot what I was saying now. But I have no idea, Sean. You got me on. But, you know, they also call him, a Laurel hairy man because, you know, the hair is different. Like hers, the female I saw looked like a shaggy dog. And she gets offended when I say that. But that's what it looked like. It looked like Chewbacca. And that's the best way to describe it, you know. And to see the eye shine and everything the other night was interesting too. And it's just like with her and you and Mike Scott, it's like or Barb, the other Barb, it's no big deal. It's like it's you know, I deal with it every day. It's been years, you know. They're here. And to people like us, you know, that's always wanted to be involved and hear stories and see encounters or have any interactions, you know, people with her and Barb, it's like, we go around beating drums and, you know, we let them know. We're like, you're doing what? So then that gave me about the call blaster when Barry's like, well, don't do that. That's ignorant for a white man to go out with speaker, you know, in woods and blast, you know, sound.
You don't know what you're saying to them.
Right. So now I know to do drums and Indian music, right? But once again, I'm scared. I don't want to do it by myself at night. So what I thought I was going to do was hang it up in a tree and put cameras around it because it's got LED lights on it. And then I was going to be like 100 yards away and use one of the cell phones that are near that area because it's got a 2-hour loop and see if I can get anything coming in. And I know, Chris, it's not going to work, but it's hypothetical.
You never know. You never know.
So, because I feel like you'd have to be if you continue to do that, it wouldn't be like I'm going to go in for a weekend or even like I feel like even like over the summer, you'd have to do that for like, what do you think, Chris? Like 6 months, maybe? Like a good solid 3 months plus, then they will become, you know, like somewhat used to you, I guess, and trust you, and they may start.
I mean, they gotta get to know you a little bit, I'm sure. But at the same time, they might be like some other animals and just ignore you. Yeah, you might not draw any interest at all. You know, so it's just like, oh, you know, that's that idiot again playing a stupid speaker again, and you know. I wish he'd stop doing that. You never know what you're going to get.
Right,
really. You don't.
Right. Yeah. Or they may go over there and destroy that $300 speaker and say, the hell with you.
No, we were using, Marie brought out what they call a singing bowl, where you sing, and she takes the little stick and kind of rubs around the rim, and it just,
it's a bet bowl.
Just vibrates, and that thing was just going through the fields and through the woods. I know that thing had to travel pretty well. So
even Barb even brought that up that they use them. Remember, Barb? Then when they go camping, they use drums, Tibet bowls, flutes. And one guy was using the stick because he didn't have nothing, banging on his big cooler, and it was like thump, then thump, and thump, and thump, and he wasn't hitting anything. And they were like, they were playing.
Answering him. Oh, yes. So cool.
Going on beat, right?
Yeah, it was off
I
beat.
met some ladies that had been on her campouts this weekend.
Really?
And that's what they were telling me. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know,
See,
because we hear it, but then you hear it again, like all this weird, bizarre, cool stuff. Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, the people that are tuning in has never watched the show, audio or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to believe. It's hard to grasp. But when you
Yes.
have people that are amongst people that have these encounters over and over for years, you know, it's like, you know, I had this one guy was like, you know, Sonny's so full of crap. I'm like, dude, let me tell you something. If you really want to go to that level, I don't care. But if you got some gold or some brass in you anywhere, let me tell you something. I'll meet you somewhere and I will personally take you down there. And I'm not going in with you, but I'll take you down there. And boy, he shut up real quick. And I was like, that's what I thought. So, you know, it's different when you put somebody in a challenge. You know, like, you don't want to believe, then come on, I'll take you. And, you know, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. That's why I'm nervous of going in the woods with her, you know, because they know her. They don't know me.
Yeah.
I would be
is
too.
that
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, yeah.
Is that going to aggravate them?
Yeah.
Is that going to make them jealous? Is that
like, if
I
it's
don't know.
if it's your favorite dog that has never acted up, you know, ever their entire life, they've never shown aggression, and then that one friend comes in and the dog's like, like a demon, you know, you're like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And that's what could happen. I would be.
That's
They're
what
like-
I'm afraid of.
They're like, this one's got guns.
Yeah.
So,
What's going on with that?
but, you know,
Definitely.
in Val's story, when he came, there goes the dolls playing with my audio. The Val's
Oh
story,
my
when he encountered that Sasquatch, when he met eye to eye, he will not go back in the woods, ladies and gentlemen. And he's an ex-state trooper. He's done stuff that would make people on forensic files toes curl, undercover work. And he refuses to go in the woods because he knew at that moment that he was in a place where he should not have been. And then when they locked eyes, it was like, you even go for that gun, you are done. And he said the feeling that he got, he told his buddy, start backing up right now. And his buddy was like, well, you don't just do what I say. And after that, he's never gone back into the woods. Never.
Whoa.
He said that feeling that he's got, nope. Because he knew that if he would have done something, he was in their territory and he was in a place where he should not belong. It's like me, like he always says, Chris, it's like me walking into somebody's house, you know, just open the door, walking in. That's how I felt when we locked eyes. It was like, I dare you to move, to try anything right now.
And I think about it, here's another account of one that, he understood his place in that situation, but he also walked out alive, and he very well could have not have. And I know there's some really bad stories out there, and I'm sure there's many of them that we don't even know how it ends. Just because if you go missing, I think you go missing. You know what I mean? They take you. I don't think you're ever they're going to find you.
No, and that's where Val, Chris, was talking about some of the cases where you just mentioned where hunters and people come back with their heads missing. The bones are broken beyond possibilities. Like, there's no way that a fall can do this, or another creature
wrap
can do
them around
this,
a tree.
You know, and stuff like that. And Val, what was it, the week before last, he entered over 1,000 cases or reports in his database. And I'm like, dude, you thought I was busy. And he'll tell you, if you got reports in Michigan, I want to know about them. And he does not filter anything out. And he's very good. He's very methodical, and he's very intuitive. And he knows when you're BSing him, because he's got that, and he's been in law enforcement, so he's got all that extra training. But you ask him a question, and he'll pull it right up on his database. I have 75 cases in the past 2 years, and this is how it happened. Whether it's gunshot related, whether it's, you're freaking me out, something behind you.
Did you guys hear that?
Something in the woods.
It's a jet. It's like flying over so low. I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
I know. I mean, seriously, it was like, what the hell?
Men in Black.
We're being targeted. But no, Laura, I look I knew. How did I know she's going to pull up an app on her phone that shows the planes? I knew that was coming. I was just about to say, ladies and gentlemen, she's going to look for the plane because there is an app that you can pull up and it'll show you the airplane, the flight.
United States. It was a C-17.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why.
Send me that app. I want that.
Loud.
Send me that app. I don't know what it is.
It's free.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
So, but
that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, and he's been threatened over this database. His life's been threatened over the database. People's threatened to break his legs and cause his family harm. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know Val very, very close, but I'll tell you one thing. He may be a small guy, and it's always the small ones you have to worry about. And I would never put him in a corner. And it's the only thing I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to leave it at that because he's very, very well knowledgeable about things. But when it comes to certain things, I mean, people's offered him large amounts of money. He won't give it out. Now, there are other people, we're not going to mention names. The Men in Black are going to pop up, Laurel, that actually befriended people and passed away and acquired information databases and paid for them and made themselves famous off of it. And now they're experts and so forth. And this has happened several times. And that has caused several people with some bad reputations because how they're using that information and you saying it's their own when it's not, which is terrible. But it's neither here or there. But yes,
his database is pretty comprehensive. Where we were talking about BFRO earlier. That they want BFRO is like Bigfoot only, and there's none of those other orbs or any other thing that goes on. They didn't record any of that. I don't know how you can rightfully leave some of those aspects off because it's, to me, you're leaving some pretty important data. I mean, I know you want to focus on Bigfoot, but at the same time, maybe there's more to the story that they've left out for this whole time. They probably would have one hell of a database, if you considered all that.
Barb, he's got
Val's has everything.
Wind speed,
water, if there's water around. I mean, everything.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wow, that's super. Wow.
So I mean, it's just crazy. But during our show, somebody will ask a question, and he'll say, "I have 73 cases, and this is what happened with gunfire," and he'll start naming them all. And it's just like, wow. And
is he getting a lot of these from police departments, behind the scenes?
I cannot answer that.
I guess that already did.
So I'll let him speak on behalf of himself.
I was kind of curious because there's some serious details to his database, so I was kind of wondering.
Well,
I'll leave it alone.
It's very interesting. But
it's very
a lot of people do. He does. He'll take reports off people as well, and he does not filter anything. No matter how crazy it is, he does not filter anything, because he doesn't believe in that and censoring shit. Because he says if you start filtering one thing, then what about the other 19 stories that somebody just said last year across the state or 4 states over?
Right.
I mean, come on. Now there's a validity to it, right? Now, Sonya and you and the other Barb and Chris and Mike and that's why everybody was asking during the one show, where does everybody live? And that's why everybody was naming off the states, because everybody's having the same scenarios or the same circumstances that's happening, but it's not the same town. So that's what's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening all over. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, is Bigfoot related to orbs? They see it before or after. You hear that. You see about UFO. I don't know. I don't see them coming out of a craft. I mean, but you hear reports of people saying, I see lights, or I see lights in the woods. We did the Brown Mountain show. That was very interesting because the government really got involved in that. And then all of a sudden, everything got cut off online on research, and it went hush. So, there was a lot of videos out there on the Brown Mountain that people would publish, and those are gone. because I know when I looked into it years ago, it was on a TV show. I forgot, I don't know which one it was. There's so many of them about paranormal back then. They did a special, an hour special long on it, and tourists would turn in their footage over to this company or producer, and they aired everybody's footage and they did a special on it. And it's just wild because it's not only in the woods, but it's above the mountain. And this thing is like, you have to be dropped off by a helicopter to get there. You cannot crawl up this ledge. And it looks like, you know, car headlights. And one guy, and I don't know, was it you, Chris, that watched it, where they looked like the guy was standing on the cliff to the left of the lights, the shadow of a man?
I think I've seen that one before.
Yeah, the one we played, and nobody caught that. And Sonya and I were like, look at that. That looks like a human being standing there. There's no way a human being can get over there. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's fascinating. So I don't know. You know, I wish I had answers, but this is where we rely on people watching, and, you know, hopefully you do come forward, you know. And I tell people, like the reporter I talked to today and the family about the cold case we're working on Friday, if you don't want to show your face, you can change your face. Don't even show it. You can change your name, whatever, to, you know, tell your side of the story, whatnot. And, man, it's going to be, it's a wild case. So, and that's what was texting back and forth. It's going to be really interesting. So,
is this the start of one?
Yeah, and the family like reached out, and they're like, "Look," and I'm like,
"Can you help?" Wow, okay.
And I'm not going to say anything else because they're probably watching me right now. But I prepped them, and I just told them, "Hey, look, when we get the results back the week after, you know, you better be having somebody watching the show. I'm just letting you know." So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, but we'll leave that on another show.
Yeah.
But you know, we want people to come forward with, you know, your encounters. You know, if you do have videos, we're not going to laugh at them. You know, we can display. We don't have to show who they're from. You know, we can put it on another platform, Facebook, Messenger, whatnot, email. It doesn't matter. We want people to see it. Yes, I talk about AI a lot, you know, and I'm not saying all the videos out there are folks or hoaxes, but we do have a lot of people that want to get their name out there, or they want to get their hits on YouTube, and they want that 15 minutes of fame. Because right now that guy's being crucified about the, hey, hello, I love you. That guy, you know, and now they're, you know, altering the backgrounds. Well, it's a mask, you know.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen good National Geographic photographs of Bigfoot that people will not release to the public. And let me tell you something, it is like almost identical. And there's some people that we showed video or pictures of Sasquatches too, that has the ring around the face with no, that has hair, but no, it's only skin. It's pale looking. People are saying that's what they look like too. And this is where we're getting across the different breeds and the different cultures or whatever it is they are. You know, categories, you know, whether it's Caucasians, Hispanic, African American, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, look how many different Indian tribes we had back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they all don't look the same. So, you know,
we all vary quite a bit as humans, and they are substantially human.
Now, if you see another grizzly, that is a doppel. And you need to Google that on your own terms. That is not good. You better start.
I know what a doppelganger is, and I'm not good with that.
So, yes.
It's like a skinwalker.
Yeah. So, and, you know, and I have people send me pictures, and, you know, and it's like, dude, I think I caught a skinwalker. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and they'll send it to me. I'm like, whoa. And they're like, don't show nobody. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Really? And because it really, the transition of the metamorphosis, I guess you can say, when they took the picture, will make you dumbfounded. And you all know these people. These people are well known in the community, but they don't want to be that guy, right? That people is making fun of, that owns and runs these Facebook groups. I'm like, why are you bringing it to me then? Because we know that if we tell you, you're going to be interested, but you're not going to blast it out. And I'm like, damn, come on, people, man. This is like teasing. You know, that's like, like, hey, crackhead, here's some meth. You want some? No, fine. You know, it's awful. So I shouldn't use that analogy. That's law enforcement coming out. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, because that is a true addiction. Now I really feel bad. So yeah, I do. But you know, it is, you know, and people like Sonya and Barb Shoop and everybody, you know, Barb could really have some very good footage if she wanted to. She decides not to. She, like she says, I haven't proved nothing to nobody.
Yes.
I know they're there. And you don't want to believe it? Who cares?
Right.
My land. I lived here all these years. You don't. You know, you want to go camping? No. And and then the story changes like that one guy. So, you know, it's and
I just want
people like we talk about.
I just want to see Sonya on air, like, hey, by the way, do you want to see Bigfoot? And then it'd be in the background.
I'm telling you.
I just want to see that happen live.
I mean, I'll be laying on the chase and we'll be FaceTiming, you know, and she's like, you want to see her? And I'm like, see, yeah, I want to see her. So like, watch, I'm going to turn the phone around. You're going to see the eye shine. I'm like, really? And she's like, and I'm like, damn, it blinked. And she's like, I told you. I'm like, hold the phone still.
She needs to make that happen for us. I want to see that.
So, and we actually got called out on that before. And it's like, she says she thinks that she's catching them off guard because of how much we talk out in the yard in the way she sets. Yes. Remember how you said you would take selfies in the woods of yourself?
Yes.
And it's catching them off guard because when that female realized that she had the phone on her, she went right behind the trees and started doing that little teeter-totter thing. Like, are you still watching me? Are you still watching me? Because she was right out in the open. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, you knew it was a female because the bottom part, you know, it was stocky and it did not look like a male. And I couldn't tell because of the hair, because it was the Chewbacca. But you know, you just know. And like I said, 20, 30 years, people walk the woods and never have an encounter or an experience. And it's sad. And we get people like you, Barb and Chris, you know, I'm sorry. I hear some lady screaming in the middle of the woods. I'm on all fours praying to God right then and there. Please, Jesus, help me. Because I don't know what the hell that is. That could be a demon. Who knows?
I'm gonna have to send you. I'm gonna have to post what we got on our home security camera either last night or the night before. A scream. It was 2:07 in the morning.
Oh my Lord!
And so it's weird because when you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh! And it's that it's like a woman's scream, but the middle is like long. You know what I mean?
It was a blood curdling scream. Like it was like a woman screaming for a
long time.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, Chris and Barb, that is in the paranormal world, we call that a banshee. Now, is that a banshee or is that a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
And to me, it's scarier to think it's a banshee. You know, like
I know, right? Now, Chris, that photograph with the horns is starting to freak me out since Sonya's So I did that for the Indigo guy. Yeah, because Chris was like, you know, dude, that's kind of spooky. I'm like, I asked him, I was like, does it look dorky? If it does,
it looks like he's hanging out with us. I'm like, dude, go away. I might have to put a sticky note over top of him. Put it around my computer.
So, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Let me show what everybody looks like without us being here. Hold on, stand by. This way everybody can see. And there we go. We're back. That's what it looks like with us not being with Sonya there. It filled the whole screen. Yeah. And with Mike here, all of us have been a little bit smaller. So, or I guess I could actually hit another button and just make us look like this. I mean, look goofy. But I think.
What's the guy on the left? Is that a straw grass guy?
That is the Ohio grass man. That's actually I call walking out of a portal. So yes, because Sonya will also tell you, and I've actually heard recently reports people seeing Bigfoot covered in moss, and I think Barb Shoop or somebody said that too
about
and it's like
stuck in him.
Yes, yes, and is that is that bug repellent? Is that what is that for? Is it is it camouflage? Because everybody's like, did it look like somebody in a ghillie suit when you saw it? I'm like, no. you know if it was a person in a ghillie suit, because they don't make ghillie suits bottom heavy and like this and the way it
Right.
was.
Right.
Because anybody can buy ghillie suits now. So it's nothing like top secret like it was 20, 25, 30 years ago. You had to make your own out of your own bush and what. Anyways, we'll leave that alone. But yes, yeah, the Mothman.
The Mothman. Oh, yikes. That's
So
scary.
Point Pleasant, there's a festival every year about the Mothman. That's very incredible cryptid. There's been recent sightings of alleged Mothman in other states, I found out.
Oh,
So
really?
what
Because
does
I know
that
it's like,
mean?
doesn't it revolve around one particular town or something like that normally?
Plants, or I
Point
just said it.
Pleasant.
Yeah, Point Pleasant.
Pleasant?
Yes.
Point
Yes,
Pleasant?
Point Pleasant. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Interesting.
but you know, and this is where I say, people come forward. We want to hear about your stuff, you know, because you're not alone. I'm telling you that. Now, am I alone going out in the woods? Hell no, I'm not. I'm not going out there. I guess I took Val's stance after watching Barb Shoot's video of that thing cloaking. Nope. So, and hearing people getting hit with infrasound and all that other stuff and being disoriented, and Sonya traveling from one spot to another, not even know how she got there. And I hear this a lot with people's encounters. And that's why I'm saying, if I ever am out there and I start getting that feeling, I'm popping off a few rounds to let them know, hey, you better beware. I probably get my face ripped off and even mine.
I'm like, oh,
yeah.
good luck with that. Ooh.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just my luck, you know, but it's just wondering.
I think if that would happen, just leave. Like if that happens, because if that, you know, like today, I felt
I don't
like
know
it
if
was,
I could. I
negative.
think I'll be
just,
the
like, walk
type
away,
that I would
like,
freeze and not be able to move.
Yeah,
I think I'll be that type. I really would. I think I'll be that scared. I'm
Really?
a man. I will say that. Yes.
No, that's
Now, I
yeah.
have been in predicaments before where I've walked backwards. Yes. And would not turn around. Absolutely. But seeing something like that face to face out in the woods, you know, by yourself, I don't know. So, and Laura says,
Throw your hands up. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Turn around and walk off. Hopefully it leaves you alone.
Probably, you're probably right. It's probably what I would probably do. You know, I don't want to ever have a bad experience. I hope my experiences are always pleasant like everybody else's, but that one that you filmed, you know, that we blew up on. What would you have done if you had accidentally snuck up on that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would have startled it. Would it react to you? Would it just like vanish and vaporize and take off running? Who knows? Because we don't have people saying this is what happened to me, because we don't get them. Either that or they disappear and they're on David Pilates 411. So yes. So I call it UHO because it was hovering and not flying. There we go. We got another
you got a new acronym.
Yeah, UHO. So that's neat. I
UAP.
like that. UAP, UHO, TMO, TMI. It's all there. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. My reaction was, well, I'm going to bed. See, I would not. There was no way I could have slept for days off that. So, I mean, I've seen things in the country growing up that will make you look at each other, be like, did you just really see what I just saw? And back then, they didn't have technology like that.
Yeah.
Now, today, yes, they do. We know they do. But seeing stuff fly with no sound and bright lights and spotlights out of nowhere hitting the middle of the field, and you're out in a 1,200 acre farm and you're out in the country, and you know, Stanford Field didn't fly airplanes around that time, you know, this past way where we lived. So yes, so I like my sleep, guys and gals. Yeah, me too. So
tomorrow night on the show, we're gonna have two UFO paranormal experts, like the Power Couple, and they have crazy evidence around their house and in their house. Like, whoo. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Man, I'll be like the Kentucky Goblins. I'll be blowing the windows out. I'll be shooting through the walls.
Yeah.
Your house would be like Swiss cheese, right?
Yes, sir, it would be. It sure would be. And when I was a farm instructor from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, right, I was the third ranking farm instructor years ago. I had this lady take a class to get her concealed carry permit. And she was so adamant about getting her target. And I was like, ma'am, I said, can I ask you? And I was like, why are you so adamant about getting your target? Because it really wasn't that good a shot, but she passed, the state qualifications. And she's like, I'm going to tell you something, son. And this is an older lady. She's like, I'm going to go home and I got a roll of duct tape I bought at Walmart. Now I'm taping it to my front door. And I'm like, what? She's like, you're warned. I may get close, but I'm still going to hit you somehow because I've got X amount of rounds in my gun. I thought, oh my God, lady, this is great. And she did. She took a picture of it and sent it to me. She duct taped, and I thought I was going to make the news. Yes. And y'all can fact check this. A legally blind man took the class years ago and passed.
Oh my God.
The qualification course. Yes.
That's scary.
Yes.
That's scary.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't have been in my class. I'd been like, no, buddy.
That's
nope.
the scariest thing I've heard all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right? So, yeah. From coast to coast around the world, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed the show. We'll have the audio uploaded tomorrow. And don't forget to check in tomorrow with Barb and us. Open the door.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for that one.
Yep.
UFOs. Look at Chris.
Yeah.
What time is it? What time is it?
11:26.
No, tomorrow's show. You Paul.
It starts at
You make me cramp.
6:30 Eastern. I think.
Oh yeah, that's
6:30
right. I forgot. I had another show, another crime show. It was booked, and she was like, "We got a show tomorrow," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's at 6:30." She said, "No, it's at 5." And I'm like, and I went back and I was like, "Oh, I never sent you that message." I'm like, I felt so bad. And she's like, "Did you or did you not get my thing I sent you?" And I was like, I was picking up those vibes. I was picking up those vibes. I'm like,
oh my gosh, because no, listen, you know
like,
what's so funny is I absolutely was not like that. I was like, I wonder if he got the message that I sent him. Like, really, I was not. It was so funny because I was like, not the intention.
Okay, we'll just blame it. You were in a stressful moment at that time, I guess. Because when I picked those vibes up, I really felt bad, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, boy, did I really screw up? Because everybody else is like, Grizzly's going to be on our show, and he's going to be on our crime show. I'm like, how many crime shows are we going to do? I'm like, my psychics are not going to be able to handle all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I'm telling you, this one Friday, Chris, tune in, man. It's something.
Definitely will.
I mean, it blows 411 out of the water.
Wow.
So yeah,
I love the whole idea and the premise of it. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To make all come together and come in, kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, and I mean that's a neat idea.
Well, my co-host was on the conference. The conference this evening, and the lady was like, "You are a psychic," and I was like, "Who's she asking that to?" And my co-host was like, "Yeah, I've got some abilities, but not like the others." And I was like, "She's telling the truth." I was like, "Yeah, we got some that used to work for the DIA, FBI, CIA." And she's like, "We know, we want answers." I'm like, "Oh,
wow."
Okay." So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. But tune in tomorrow. We all think y'all have fun tonight. I did. Y'all got
we did. Yeah, I did. Good night, guys. Good night.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. And tune in tomorrow. Toodalooms. God bless. See you.
Good night.
Night.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No, we're gonna watch and listen. It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. I got here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just going to sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!